It's so true. Call them senators and congressmen. By the way, it's it's easy. No, online, I think. No. That's fine. Okay, welcome everyone to our town council meeting here. I will call the meeting to order, and if we could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Bullock there. Counselor Foster.
Here.
Davidson.
Here.
Counselor Nessa.
Here.
Counselor Rizzo. Counselor Rothman. Counselor Lee. Here. Mayor, you have a form.
All right, thank you. First up is our proclamation that we have. I'll read it and then I'll come up and present it to you. The second time, but that's okay. You came to the council meeting. We're happy you came. We did this proclamation a little while ago, town council, town of Berlin proclamation, hereby known that the town of Berlin hereby recognizes Madeline Lazara honoring the Girl Scout Gold Award, Girl Scouts of America. Madeline's Gold Award project was LORS. It was the love of reading in elementary schools. She was able to create a website that allows students to listen along to portions of a book through videos of high school volunteers reading those books at varying levels. The goal of her project was to spark the students' interest in continuing to read the books on their own and develop a love of reading. Madeline is a member of the Girl Scouts of America, Troop 66-495. She was a bronze and silver award recipient. And Madeline enjoys photography, ballet, and soccer, and is a member of Interact and Upbeat. So in recognition of your commitment to your family, community, and the principles of Girl Scouts, the town council congratulates Madeline and extends the best wishes to her and all of your future endeavors, and congratulations on this award. Yeah, go ahead and present this to you.
Come on up, Kodak move.
Congratulations. Okay. So where are we now? Let's see. Okay, so we're at our audience of citizens. If anyone has anything they'd like to present or speak with the council, now would be your time. It could be whatever's on our agenda tonight or anything else you'd want to tell us. Now would be the time. Don't all race for the microphone at once. It's okay. Yes, sir.
I'd just like to hear a bit more about the sale of the property on Percival Avenue. I believe that's an agenda item for tonight.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, we'll get some details out
can I ask
tonight.
questions during that?
If you have a question, then that's fine. Yeah, no problem. Anyone else, had any issue? Anybody online? No one? Okay. Okay, we'll go ahead and close that. And we will move on to the mayor's update. Nothing much to update. We got a lot on our agenda, so we'll just move along. Other than we, Donna and I and many other folks attended the Juneteenth celebration on Saturday, which was very good. They had a great speaker at it, and it was a nice ceremony they had, and several different speakers and presentations. So it was great at the library. Library did a great job of well attended, and the library did a great job hosting it. So yeah, thank you for all that. And there's Peter. Look at that, right on cue. Perfect. So yeah, that was great. And that's all. I'm trying to think. I don't know if anything else urgent is going on that I could think of to update folks, but we certainly have plenty on our agenda, so we will continue with that. And we'll go to our consent agenda to start. So we have, what do we have here? 10 items. I'll just run through them very quickly. They, obviously have been, they're on the town website. Our agenda's posted, so folks could have reviewed them. We've reviewed them before ourselves. The first one is authorized town manager to apply for a community connectivity grant in the amount of up to $800,000 for sidewalks on Four Rod Road, Winding Meadow Drive to Norton Road, on Percival Avenue to Carbo Lane, to Percival Field on Robbins Road, from Town Drive, and there's several other projects. We've been looking to put sidewalks on several other streets, so we're hopefully we can get some funding from that grant. That'd be great. So number 2 is accept monetary donations totaling $2,545 and deposit $1,000 into the library agency account for the purchase of adult fiction, and deposit $651 into the Friends of the Library for the purchase of adult summer reading prizes on summer reading that tags, and deposit $893 into the Friends of the Library miscellaneous account for supplies for the library. Number 3 is accept the non-budgeted appropriation of the State of Connecticut Youth Services Bureau grant in the amount of $3,421 for a deposit in the Child and Youth Services revenue account. That's subject to the Board of Finance. Accept donations for the Berlin Animal Control account for $200 for animal care and supplies valued at $200. Waive, number 5 is waive $752 in fees associated with the hiring of 2 police officers to cover the fire department car show May 27th, which of course already happened. Number 6, accept the donation of $265 and appropriate the funds to the police canine program expenditure account. Number 7, accept the donations of $525 and appropriate the funds to the supplies expenditures account for the police department. Number 8, approve the request of St. Paul Parish to waive all fees associated with having Berlin police officers at the Friar 4 Miler Walk Run event to help control traffic. The amount to be waived is $2,990. Number 9, transfer $57,500 as detailed on the accompanying spreadsheet to cover higher than budgeted expenditures in identified accounts. That's from the finance department. And number 10 is authorize to apply and accept the senior center director to apply for the 17th year of funding in the amount of $30,869 for the state matching grant program for elderly and disabled demand responsive transportation to cover the wages of the senior center per diem bus drivers. That's obviously for seniors in town. Excuse me, and our senior center folks. Take care of them as best we can. So those are our consent agenda. Any other comments from the council on those? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and take a motion to approve.
I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you. Second on that? Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. Okay, so now we will move into our first public hearing. So I will go ahead and call the public meeting to order. And the purpose of the public hearing,
Yeah, you have your sheet there.
I do. Yes, I do. You want me to read it? Or who's this?
Sure.
Who's reading the purpose? I'll read the purpose. That the town council, obviously, we're meeting tonight in our chambers here on Tuesday, June 20th to hold a public hearing on the proposed lease agreement as follows. The town council approval of the contract to lease golf course utility cards from Easy Go using PNC Bank National Association in the amount not exceeding $34,348.73. The yearly payments will be in the amount not exceeding $6,879.73, starting 8/1/23 and ending 8/1/27. Copies of the contract are on file for the public at the office of town clerk. So this is a public hearing on this item. So we now would be the time for public comments on this. This was, basically to get some nicer carts there, and it should be working a little bit better than what we have there. So at the golf course now. So if there's any comments on this item, now would be the time from the public. Anyone here? Seeing no one here. Anyone online? No one. Okay, right? Nobody else? I don't see any little hands raised. Okay. Okay, so we'll close the public comments and town council comments. I know we were briefed on this at the last meeting, but what do we have? Anything? No comments? We're good? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the comments and we'll go ahead and close the
What's up? Just listening.
close the public hearing at this time. All right. So we have a second public hearing to do tonight before we get to our agenda, which the purpose, so I'll call this second public hearing to order. The purpose is obviously we're meeting at Town Hall tonight, June 20th, 2023, for the purpose of holding this public hearing on the sale of 143 Percival Avenue and lease of a portion of map 8-4, block 54, lot 65 to the Berlin Housing Authority. The proposed survey map is on file for public inspection at the office of the town clerk. So that's the purpose. Now we will, since this is a public hearing, we have members of the public can make comments now. So now would be a time if you anyone wanted to ask questions about this. Later on the agenda, we have it, but if you have any questions on this, you could ask now. We can hopefully get some answers for you if you're interested.
My name is Jared Sirocco. What's the sale price for the property?
I will let our town, right, no. I'll let the town, we don't have any, $1. Yeah, it's just going to the Berlin Housing Authority, yeah,
Okay.
because the town.
And what's the purpose of the sale? What will the Berlin Housing Authority be doing with the property?
Yeah, it's so this is the thing that we have, the area, the Knights of Columbus property there, we've identified for the senior housing, which is 50 units, two separate buildings. And we've been, working on this for, oh my goodness. Yeah, it seems like decades, probably about 10 years, probably 10 years we've been working on this. Just, it's taken a long time. It's very difficult today to get funding for senior housing. First of all, the state and federal funding doesn't like to call it senior housing anymore. So we've been through a bunch of that to try and get the funding. There was a unknown to us being the town and planning and zoning, when we first approved this, there was a easement the state had in that property in the back somewhere, which never came up anywhere when we approved it initially, the project through planning and zoning. And that was a 2-year process to deal with DEEP and the state to get that taken care of. So there's just been a lot of hurdles throughout the process. So now we're finally there, I believe, to get this transferred and get the funding is in place, and we can hopefully get that project moving. That's the goal.
So is the plot zoned for that already?
Yes, so zoning, planning and zoning approved this project, I want to say 10 years ago, I think about 10 years ago. So yeah, we just have been trying the housing authority and with the town to really just get the project going. And it really was a question of funding, and the state, unfortunately, along the way, every time we seem to have a plan to get funding, they changed what they wanted to fund, as far as housing funds from the federal government and the state government. So it just, and then of course with the easement, it just was delay after delay. So now we are on the brink of closing on this property, letting the housing authority take title and get this project rolling.
The limitations on the development, what can like done cosmetically from?
Yeah, I mean, there's the plan. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole plan of what they can do, what the buildings will look like. And I think we've made there was a few minor changes with that easement, because I think part of one of the buildings was on that easement. I believe that's what happened with that, if I recall. So but it's the initial project was approved, and yeah, I mean, it's a nice looking project. Listen, it'll be quite the improvement over the dilapidated Knights of Columbus.
Fair.
Yeah.
Only visible from the baseball field, though, not from the road.
Yeah.
So 50 units, it will probably be visible from the road, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if I think we moved them over. I'm not sure. I don't think we have one tonight, but you could go to planning and zoning and see it. Yeah, I mean,
I wasn't familiar with the project until I saw the signs.
yeah,
The way the driveway is, if I
Yeah.
can interject,
Yeah,
Mayor,
yeah,
I think that the way the driveway goes to the back lot, it's almost like it's a back lot, and if there's no frontage really on Percival Avenue, I don't think you're gonna see a whole heck of a lot, maybe even less than what you're seeing now.
Okay.
On the front end of it, because I think it'll be pushing.
yeah, it's in the back. But we were very, again, planning and zoning looked at this, and obviously recognizing there's established homes there. We were very cautious of how it would look and how it would not interfere with the rest of the homes in the neighborhood there.
You said they're 50 standalone?
50, no, they're two buildings
Two
with
buildings,
25 each.
25 each.
Yeah.
Um,
I think there are 3-story buildings, if I remember correctly,
so
2 or
stories
3.
For senior housing?
Was it
Joe's there if you want, Joe.
Yeah, Joe. Yeah, Joe,
Yes,
I know you've been working on it closely for all these years. Just describe the property again, because I just don't.
yeah, so it's basically two buildings. The buildings were designed by Point One Architects out of Old Lyme. They're very reputable in terms of their design. If you ever drive down Route 9 South and take the exit, there's a set of apartments that you can view off the exit ramp. They designed those. These buildings are going to have a colonial feel to them. Their total height is 36 feet, which complies with the town zoning regulations for a height cap. The property itself slopes down, so from Percival Avenue, there's about a 10 to 15 foot drop in elevation. So these buildings are not going to be as, how should I put it, as large as, say, the Sherwood Tool condo complex is now. They are going to be landscaped in
complex?
such a way to provide screening, and like I said, they're designed to blend with the neighborhood in terms of a colonial type style.
Okay, still 36 feet tall seems taller than most of the houses in the area, correct?
Yes, except for the Sherwood condos, which are right within walking distance of this site.
Okay, thank you for describing it.
It does slope down there, though. That's why we kind of did let that height go that way, but it should, it should blend a little bit more than it sounds like it would.
Yep.
We're very cognizant of that fact, but yeah.
Is it a spot zoned lot? Meaning it's the only lot zoned that way?
So
Around
the Housing Authority has a carve out on the town of Berlin zoning regulations, which allows us to propose projects on properties that are not normally zoned for those types of projects. It comports with the federal fair housing legislation.
So there won't be more.
Well, spot zoning is not legal for residential use within Berlin, correct? But it is for special purposes.
For the housing.
For the Housing Authority.
Housing Authority is a quasi-public agency, which is part of the town, for lack of a better explanation. It's not like a private developer is going in and doing this. This is filling a public need that we definitely need.
Okay, and Berlin has a need for senior housing.
Oh my God, there's a very long waiting list for senior housing, yes.
Yeah, even with the construction of these units, we'll still have probably another 50 people waiting to get in.
And this is a special permit in the residential zones for this type of project, and there's a number of special permit uses in those zones. And this is one,
So it
housing
gives,
for elderly persons.
yeah, it gives the town the ability to control design and, kind of steer the direction of this project to a certain degree. So more so than a developer that would build a project on a zoned parcel that was approved.
Understood. So adjacent plots to the property, will they be afforded the same zoning
No,
if they apply for it?
There are no available lots
Nothing
adjacent
there.
to the property.
There's no residential lots abutting the property?
None that are not built on.
Vacant, yeah.
yeah, the only reason why this worked was because,
Developer could buy a property, rezone it, knock the house down, correct? No?
no, it wouldn't work that way, because if it's a special permit and it would have to be really permitted, and this is also kind of a special purchase from
This-
the.
Additionally, the density wouldn't work. You couldn't build 52 units on a quarter acre.
The Housing Authority has a special zoning privilege to request it. A private developer could buy 3 lots, knock down houses. He would not get that privilege. He'd still have to put 3 houses back.
Yeah, we're not looking
It'll be
to,
single family houses only.
But once the zoning is adjacent to it, then he has an argument for rezoning the property from residential,
He could
correct?
make that argument, but I doubt if it would fly. It's not a legal standing. Because he's not the Housing Authority.
So there's history of legal decisions that guide this process. So it's not just like somebody can come up and file an application and rezone a section without a process. This is a legal exercise.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I don't mean to cut you off, but I do
Yeah.
understand there's a process for rezoning property. But it is possible then, once this is in, correct? Because the zoning will be abutting the property. So a developer would need to buy residential lots adjacent to that property, and they would no longer be applying for a spot zoning, which then would not be affording them the monopoly that a spot zoning typically does. Is that correct?
So, no, so for a developer to buy up all the property at current market values and then turn around and try to construct a apartment complex on those spaced out single quarter acre lots would probably be financially ruinous to him. Not to mention the approval process, the appeals process. It's not something that's going to happen. There are no large lots adjacent to this property. This is the last one. And like I said, the only other one is between Marjorie Moore, which is a Housing Authority property, and the Knights of Columbus. And that has a conservation easement on it, which prohibits any development whatsoever.
and Jeff, do you want to?
Is the concern that the status afforded to the housing authority under the zoning regulations pursuant to federal law creates some type of similar rights for private property owners?
Yeah, it opens.
They would have
the
no
door to
standing. They
rezoning.
would not qualify to use that exemption. That exemption is in the zoning regulations because of federal housing laws. So unless they're a housing authority, they don't get to claim it.
Sorry, let me clarify my question then. The zoning on the plot would be zoned to allow 50 units, correct?
Correct.
So now, when you go down the hall to the zoning department to apply, if you're a property abutting that, to apply to have your property rezoned, they don't kick you out and say, I can't do that. That's spot zoning. They would then consider your application. Is that the case?
What is the application that's being filed? A site plan?
Match the
A-
zoning
A
of the
site
lot.
plan, a site plan application to do what? On what lot?
So
I think I know.
I'm giving you a theoretical, right? I understand that it might not financially make sense for a developer to do that today. But who's to say tomorrow house prices don't go down? So if a developer was to purchase 3 plots of land in a chain off of that property, could they rezone? Or does the federal exemption limit it to just that one plot forever?
Well, it's the housing authority. It's the housing authority that can avail itself of that exemption. A private property owner would not have that exemption available to them. They would have to comply with the ordinary requirements of the zoning regulations for any development that they wanted to pursue.
That's the key word, comply with the normal zoning regulations. So they could then theoretically do that.
They can
They would
file
have
it.
to come in front of.
You
the
could
board.
go
File an
anywhere in
application for
town,
whatever they
any
want.
piece, you
Sure.
could take any piece of property in town.
And ask,
apply And ask for
you
that.
could ask.
Not true. That would be a spot zoning and it would give
No, we
you a
just had it-
monopoly to
not with-
neighbors.
Not with the modern income housing regulations. We have developers all the time
Really?
trying to use special state law to build a large number of units. And if
The
they need a certain
830G.
income gap,
Yep.
So what is that regulation? So I can
Eight-
become familiar with
eight
it.
Connecticut General
830G.
Statute, Connecticut General Statute 8-30 lowercase g.
I'll follow up with you after this.
That's affordable housing. That's different than this, though. That's different.
but
But-
it's different than this. I'm saying,
yes.
he's saying this lot could be.
Yeah, right.
Could be changed because of the adjacent property owner. Any lot in town could be changed.
So I can knock down my house and build a multi-unit property
No,
on.
you said, can you apply? Yes, you can apply
can
to do
apply.
that. Will it be approved? Probably not.
I think I've taken up enough time. I apologize.
No,
No,
no, it's okay. Yeah.
That's what we're here.
No, we want to put your mind at ease. Don't worry. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, yes, we just need your name and address too, for the record. Actually, did I like?
Good evening, I'm Francis Paul,
Yep.
address 123 Percival.
Welcome.
Thank you, Jared, for bringing this up. I was here and I spoke at the very first hearing that we had and for concerns, personal concerns, and town concerns. Two comments. One, I have a separate lot adjacent to that I get billed on and taxed on. So there's nothing on it. I pay my taxes to my house. The other question I have is the wetlands. Originally, when this thing was brought up, my neighbors were there and they're very involved with the wetlands situation and stuff like that. They do a lot of environmental work. And the sale of the property and things were put on hold because of the wetlands. She got her group together and everything and they spoke. And then we hadn't heard anything for the longest time. And I believe you're saying 10 years. I think it's 8 years. I was trying to go back in my clouded memory
Could be.
that we had that first meeting. And we all had our private concerns, me, the driveway, me, the traffic, people coming in and out. And then, of course, the wetlands and the open air, if you will, the fresh air part of Berlin that knocked the building down. Right now, it's used for storage for a lot of Burns construction, which is not appealing. But normally, it's a beautiful place that people come and they park their cars and they sit and they watch baseball games from. And I'm concerned about the wetlands. I have to pick up her fight.
Yeah, I mean,
So
when we
the,
approve, Go
The
ahead.
property went through the wetlands process and it was approved. They received wetlands approval
Planning and zoning did that. When it was in planning and zoning, we would have gone
prior,
through
prior to
wetlands
planning
first.
and zoning.
I
Yeah.
didn't hear anything about it, and then Denise, she is
It-
gone now, so I
yeah.
didn't.
Yeah, it'd be
follow.
prior. In other words, before planning and zoning would have approved this project, it would have gone to wetlands before.
Okay.
Which it did, which is why we were able to approve it. Yeah, if it was, it's not, from what I read, it's again, it's hard to remember, but it didn't, it's not touching the wetlands, any part of the buildings and then the site that we're building on. There are wetlands behind it, you're correct, yeah, but we wouldn't disturb them.
And then all my private concerns about the driveway and the traffic light. I'm a senior. I think I drive a little slower than I used to when I was 30. Them coming out on Percival Avenue, which is a death trap. It's horrible. All those concerns I have to take up to the planning and zoning.
Traffic would be
Police
the
depart-
police commission, the police department. I mean, yeah, you could start with either at the police commission if it's, speeding, I'm assuming you're talking about probably, or other things.
Well, if they're gonna-
Yeah, to get in and out, yeah, they would,
That's
right.
50 cars or more.
yeah, I mean, I think with seniors though, I think if you look at our other senior projects, I'm not sure, like the one I'm most familiar with, well, there's one of course behind Town Hall here and then Percival. I don't, many of the folks in the senior housing do not even have cars. I mean, I know they probably generate some traffic from folks picking them up and taking them places, but I'm not sure that traffic would be an issue, but we looked at that too, obviously, when we approved the site plan. Would be traffic.
There,
There was a traffic study
Yeah.
developed and presented.
So will there be putting some sort of a light there? Is there an intention of a light being put there or just stop signs or?
I don't think there's a light proposed.
No, there's no light. The state
No, I know
DOT,
there's no light right now, but I'm just wondering if they're planning, once the building is completed, what their plan is for traffic.
I
the
can't-
state DOT regulates that road. It's a state route. And as of right now, they do not recommend the light.
Okay.
Okay,
I mean, now if you have though concerns about Percival Avenue, if people are,
Mhm.
people everywhere seem to be driving fast everywhere today,
the
right?
races on Saturday night down
Yeah.
the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm out there, I've
Right.
got flashlight, I have a
Yeah.
dog, I
Yeah.
walk with a cane.
Yeah.
And
No,
there are several of us. You don't dare go because my grass, my beautiful lawn has been torn up because of that, because they're racing side by side.
Oh, I know,
Terrible, I
it's a
know.
problem throughout our whole state, but certainly it happens everywhere. But I definitely suggest go,
I'm sorry,
no, go ahead.
we're
Finish.
talking about seniors pulling out slower and everything.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to get killed.
Yeah, I mean, right now though, if it's happening before that's even built, I would definitely go to a police commission meeting and or talk to the police chief. I think the
It's a
police
state road.
chief, well, no, but we still would
We
have
still have some
jurisdiction to
jurisdiction,
enforce
right.
speeding laws on it and other, reckless driving laws, so they would definitely maybe do an operation there and try and slow people down.
Thank you.
Yes,
I
yes.
just would like to make a comment and thank you both for coming out. Certainly if I lived in the neighborhood,
Yeah.
and I do actually down the road a little bit. This is something, you're changing the footprint, if you will. What's currently there is terrible. I remember attending weddings at that facility, and now I'm dating myself, decades ago. And the fact that we're putting something new and fresh that helps our seniors is really important, but I take to heart all of your concerns. The dilapidated building that's there now really is unsafe, and really people shouldn't even be parking there next to the building. It's not a safe area, to be honest with you. And this is a perfect opportunity. The space is already there. It's not blocked off for residential types of housing. So this is really a good spot for something like our seniors. And it really will increase and look better, increase the value to the area and look better to have a building in there that is upkept, et cetera, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
oh, I agree,
I
and
mean, but you have some valid concerns about traffic. And I think that we can even follow up at our end
Yeah.
with our traffic people. Our traffic, there's an officer that takes care of just that. And put that out there, because I agree with you. That's a highly trafficked, Percival Avenue is a major throughway, and that's definitely a concern.
Plus it's down a hill.
Yeah,
People are
a-
going
and
faster
it's,
down the hill.
and there's no bumps or anything to stop them, you know, it's wide open, and they do race it, if you will.
Yes. Joe, how many units are at Percival Heights? How many units?
We have 30 units at Percival Heights.
So just as a little bit of a comparison, just in a residential, I mean, and then we have units obviously behind Town Hall here, which is a little bit different because you're coming in this
Mhm.
road, but the one in Percival Heights, I go there frequently. And I, you know, it's in the middle of the neighborhood. It's not, I don't see a lot of traffic generated out of out of the 30 units. I mean, some of the folks that live there do have cars, but most do not typically, and it shouldn't be a big generator. And again, planning and zoning, we did do a traffic study to make sure it didn't impact that neighborhood. I mean, it's gonna be a little bit of an impact, but they're gonna be two nice looking brand new buildings too. I mean, a large improvement,
Yeah,
as Donna said, over
there
what
now,
has
that's
been there for
ages.
years. I mean, in its heyday, it
Just-
was not a
yeah, it
bad
was
looking
be-
building.
It was great in its heyday,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you know,
now
that's,
it's been kind of an
decades ago.
eyesore in your
And
neighborhood.
I just want to state for the record, from the Housing Authority standpoint, we
Yes.
have incorporated landscaping and screening processes to minimize the impact on that neighborhood. With respect to traffic, I'm willing to work with the town as to requirements for traffic. The problem is going to be the state, because the state, if we want to install a stop sign or a traffic light, State Traffic Commission has to really authorize that. You know, we're outside of that, this is a good location for seniors. You know, in terms of density, you look at the condos right down the street at the corner of Percival and Main Street, there's probably 100 units in that building, if not more. And, you know, there's nights where I walk that neighborhood that I don't see a lot of traffic being generated by that complex. So I'm sure in the morning or in the evening, when people go to work and come back from work, there's traffic. But you know, I don't really see that much of an impact from that complex. I doubt you're going to see much of an impact from this complex. The seniors, their schedules change when they retire, and you know, outside of going out for groceries in the midday, they're not as active as a young couple with families would be.
that's not to say that we won't check into it, because I think we need to do, and since this process has started, it's been many years, a larger population, more traffic, so we
Mhm.
should certainly check into that. Thanks, Joe.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't stand up here, Kate's gonna yell at you.
Jared Storako again. You mentioned earlier Percival Ave sidewalks. Is this the area?
I think that's
main
what, I
road.
think that's, if we get
Part
the
of
grant, I think it's part of the area we're looking at, yes.
Okay.
Yes, that would be definitely a road identified to,
Because I live on Percival Ave right on the corner,
yes.
that and Robbins.
Oh, yeah.
And I have, I think Percival Heights is in my backyard. Right, it's on the baseball field on the other side.
Okay,
Is that
yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Yes,
So I see people walking in the road. all the
There's
time.
nowhere to. Yeah,
I
there's
do
nowhere
too,
to-
yeah.
Cars have to swerve, swerve in the other.
It can be a dangerous road without sidewalks to
Mhm.
walk on, no doubt about it.
Yeah,
I know,
especially combined with the speed, so,
yes,
thank you.
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
So just for the council's knowledge
Yes.
and the public's knowledge, Jim Mahoney and I have been working on a trail that's currently in place from the Marjorie Moore Village complex up through to the soccer field. That trail will be extended and eventually tie into our sidewalk network on the Knights of Columbus property, which will extend out to Percival Avenue and also to the ball field and Percival Park, for lack of a better term, the pool area. So there is going to be some additional walking paths generated on that site as a result of this development.
Okay, good.
Clarification on the sidewalks, it's just this project that we're talking about applying for a grant now is just from Carbo Lane to Percival Field. So it doesn't go that
That's
all the
fine.
way up to,
Down
Right.
Percival, you know.
I'm sure in the
Step by
town's
step.
plan, I mean, I'm sure in the town plan, ultimately, we do want to put sidewalks and more streets. That would be one of the ones we would, I'm sure is identified to do it. But, you know, that's down the road a little bit. But listen, we appreciate you coming and talking to us. That's what the public hearing is about. And hopefully we, you know, answered some of your concerns. I mean, the goal is certainly to provide, extra housing for our seniors in town, of which there's, many and many that are on this list. Been waiting for years for housing, and to make it the nicest part. We understand it's in a it's in a neighborhood there. We knew that from the beginning, but that's why planning and zoning definitely took their time with it. And as Joe mentioned, we looked for screening in different ways to make it an attractive property and not, interfere with your guys' properties surrounding it. So we really take that to heart, and we'll continue to do that as we build it. So. All right, thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Joe, and everyone too. Any other comments from the public? Anything else? All right, I'll go ahead and close the public comments, and now town council comments. Any councilor comments? We're good? Okay. With that, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. All right, on to our new business.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rush.
How is everyone today?
Good.
Very
Good.
So to start with the police pension, we spend quite a bit of time. This hasn't taken as long as the senior housing project, but been a couple of years in the making. The last meeting, we had Brendan Butler from Reed and Riga come in and give an overview and present to the council. And all of you had the materials mailed to you in advance, and given an opportunity to ask questions, and you did. At that meeting, we talked about what needs to happen between 2 weeks ago and June 30th to get this through the finish line. And we worked with potential council to develop these resolutions. And what we have in front of you today, the series of resolutions that are necessary for us to make this effective July 1st. And I'll hit some of the highlights on those. It's in your agenda. And then the very first one is for the council to approve and adopt this plan. The second one is we need your approval so that we can access and contribute 8% to this pension plan. And then according to IRS regulations, it needs to be pre-tax and all that. Number 3 is to, once we collect the money, we need to establish a trust so that the money can be invested, managed, and will be there for the future. And then there are a series of actions we need to take to modify the current defined contribution plan, such as to exclude all town police officers hired on after July 1st, 2023 from participating in the DC plan, because the new DB plan will be available to them. And the same way, any officer who decides to switch to the DB plan will not have access to the DC plan, except if they have any additional funds that they are not used for the DB plan, it will stay in the DC plan. And then some language there for the transfer of the buy-in. Remember, July 1st, we will have an actuary compute what the actual number is for the buy-in. We will have 60 days for once the number is given for the officers to make a determination. And once they do that, if they have the funds, it'll be transferred from their DC to the DB plan. If they don't, there will be a town subsidy. But for us to transfer the fund, we need that to be included in the resolution as well, because the current way the DC plans work, you can't really move money without amending the plan. And then, of course, the other one is to allow me and the finance director to sign necessary documents to set up the trust and make amendments to the DC plan and sign off on these things. So that's a highlight of the resolutions that are needed. At this point, I'll pause and take any questions if you may have.
Just a couple things before we get that far. So there's one thing I noted here, and you know, I'm not clear if it matters, but in the definition section on page 1 down where it says average earnings. It appears to maybe be in conflict or maybe left something out. I don't know, or maybe it doesn't matter. I read it a few times. It could, I'm not sure. So, you know, we're talking about the highest average, which doesn't mention overtime, but as we go to page 2, A, the first little A there, it does, you know, it does say participants base salary, including holiday pay, but excluding any overtime pay bonuses or other forms of compensation. So I don't know. I'll defer to Jeff on that one. If the average earnings there should say excluding overtime, would it be confused? You know, that it's one place it says excluding, the other, this first definition doesn't say that. I think it seems confusing to me, but what
For
do you think?
consistency purposes, it should say it in both places, yeah.
Great. Okay, so we need to add that in there, obviously, right?
Good idea.
So we need to do that.
Well, yes, but
How do we do that?
to challenge our council here, but
Yes,
average earnings says shall mean average of participant compensation. And then the compensation is defined separately. Right?
under A. Yeah, you're talking about, that's
Yeah.
how it's defined.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and that was that's how you could sort of read it either way, but it would still, I don't know, it still seems a little,
Including holiday pay, excluding any overtime.
Right.
That's the definition of compensation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it's not a big deal to add a language.
would it be a big deal just to add that and including, you know, does not include overtime as far as? I mean, I
If,
Yeah.
if the concern is that it's in one place but not in the other, then it's easy enough to just be consistent,
that's what I would think.
right?
Yeah, that's what I think we should do myself, but.
Just add on the average earnings compensation in front.
Excluding OT.
Excluding overtime,
No
that's
problem.
all we would add. I don't,
Big
I
problem.
wouldn't think that anybody would, you know, certainly the union, I know, looked at this already. I wouldn't think they would be opposed to that because it's what we said it would be. So, right? Okay, that was one of the biggest thing I wanted to mention that I saw just in the actual agreement, but also just for the benefit of all of us here, the couple things. So it's going to be held in trust. I know there's going to be a, you know, fiduciary that's going to make sure it's invested the right way and all that, as all our other town funds are. But what concerns me is, and that's not for this negotiation as far as with the council or anything, but maybe down the road, I don't know the best way to do it, Jeff, but you know, when I took office 7 years ago, we had a pension fund that was unfunded, basically. We had millions of dollars of payments that were coming due for the last pension fund and the payout of that. And we had no money in there. So town had it, you know, really was a difficult time. So I don't know how we make sure, whatever, that down the road that it is funded
Yeah, so
as we go forward.
if I may.
Yes,
We
absolutely.
discussed this last time and I
Yes.
think we agreed we can come up with an ordinance.
Ordinance, okay, good.
Love that,
Yeah.
and that'll
Yeah.
be the
That would be the way, the
We
best
can
way.
do it by ordinance. We also tried to deal with this issue in the charter reform, charter revision.
Correct. We did try and do it and it didn't get voted on, right? Yes, I remember that. We did try that too. We would have rather have put it in the charter, but obviously that didn't work. So yeah, if we can do the ordinance, right, that's what we can work on that after
Come up,
this
yeah.
goes through, and
Absolutely.
just want to make sure that. And then also, you know, you're talking about, obviously, the actuaries are going to run the numbers, and my concern has always been, even in our negotiations over the pension, that, you know, just make sure the officers, I mean, on their own and or with what the town's going to provide, they understand, right? They're going to get their numbers, they're going to understand they've got options, and, you know, I mean, I certainly would advise any of them, if they have any questions, to get their own financial advisor. We know everybody's financial circumstance is different. So, you know, to safeguard themselves and their families, I would make sure once they get all the information on what choices they have and what it's going to cost them personally, and what their, you know, life plan is, they get their own advice. But also, I know the town's going to be providing some advice for them as well, right, to the union members, I believe. I hope so. So they understand, you know, when it comes time to make that choice. What do they have, 60 days once they get that
Right,
number? Is that how we're looking at it?
that is correct. So the town will provide advice, but I like what you said, they need to give their own advice as well.
Should.
Because
Yes.
it's a personal decision that they make, and you should not make it without.
Right.
Discussing that with your family members and others and
Oh, yeah.
advice. We will certainly provide part of the rollout. Friendship Council has advised that we put this in writing to the police members saying, here's a number. This is how it's gonna outline it, that you
Right.
have the option to do. If you do this, you can go back to the DC, whatever is remaining in the DC. So whatever, it's in here, but we'll outline it and send it in memo format so that they all have it. It's in the plan.
Right.
But you and I both know how many people read plans.
Yeah, no,
So,
it's
and it
just-
could be confusing.
yeah,
So
sure.
maybe a one pager that summarizes everything would
Right.
be helpful.
Yes.
One thing I failed to mention, the police commission endorsed the plan as well.
Oh, yeah. Okay, great. Oh, thank you. That's right. We asked for that. Yes, that's great. Okay, that's good. Yeah, no, I'm just concerned, we want to make sure people make the right decision for their family and for themselves. And sometimes if you don't get all the information and then it's too late, because we have 60 days, so we're shooting for what, July and August, so September
August,
1st.
Yeah,
So that would be one of my biggest concerns, that once we get this passed, they would, obviously make sure they make the right choice. Yes, sir.
Question first, do we know how much this is gonna cost the town?
that's a $1 million question.
I
So
mean,
you
I
know
I know there's a range depending who participates and who doesn't, but I've seen a bunch of numbers flying around. I just wanted your best guess.
No, there's no, well, it's a guess, right? Because it depends on, you're not funding a contribution here, you're guaranteeing a benefit. So if a retiree lives a day after or 50 years makes a big difference. So regardless of that, the town is guaranteeing the benefit, right? So it's difficult to give a number. When we ran the initial set of numbers compared to what we have in the DC contribution, the budget to what we would pay, it was $246,000 if everyone switched on average. Now, again, the market has changed. Number could be higher or lower, I don't know, right? So we'll have those numbers. And then that's the, what I call the normal cost that you incur every year. Then there's a town subsidy that we talked about, which was on average, it would be around 353,000 one time. And when we went through the budget process, we had proposed to amortize it over a 5-year period. And the Board of Finance want to do it over a 10-year period.
Spread it out more.
Right.
Yeah.
So the number could be, the first 5 years, around 423,000. Then the it'll be reduced by 177. The 353 was a 5-year amortization. 10 years, it'll be half of that, 177 for 10 years. So it'll be dropped from 246 without that amortization and the 177 to get to 423. These are, like you said, estimates. We will have better numbers once we get the evaluation, once we know who actually joins the DB plan, and the market value as of the end of the 60-day period, we'll have a number how much the town subsidy is. We take that number, we amortize it over a 10-year period.
I think the market's gone up a little bit lately.
I know.
Let's hope that helps.
Good.
Yeah, let's hope that helps. Yeah. I think the Board of Finance, I know they were talking about this a little bit, but I think, Peter, from our pension negotiations a while back, which things were not looking that good in the market, but they still may not be. Who knows what happens with that? But it seems like the cost of the town may have gone, we think estimated have gone down a little bit. In fact, we even project maybe it's a break even, maybe a little bit more for the pension plan, but we did look at all this, the group that, sat together for a long time to figure this out. We took that to heart, how much more it would cost the town, and it wasn't that big of investment for what we need to do for our police officers, and obviously recruit new ones, recruit and retain what we have. As I've said, just one last time, in the market we're in, the place in history we're in our country to recruit and retain police officers is very, very difficult. Here in Connecticut, we're competing against, you know, towns around us, surrounding towns, Rocky Hill, Newington, Cromwell, all of them around us have, many of them never left the pension plan, and Rocky Hill, I know for, you know, they did what we did. They were out of the pension plan for a few years. They went back to it 2-3 years ago, and their recruiting is much better. I think they're actually up to full staff in Rocky Hill. Familiar with them quite a bit. So same size town as Berlin. They went through the same issues we've been going through. So that's why for, you know, public safety and able to maintain public safety and staffing levels, which are, you know, difficult to do right now, this is already helped us because we've, you know, advertised on the police app, I believe that, you know, Berlin is going to have a pension plan, even though we haven't voted on it yet. But it's out there, and I think obviously the agreement with the union and the town will help us immensely to keep our town safe and keep our officers and recruit new ones. So anyway, folks, what else we got? Comments, questions? Sandy, Donna, Charlie, Casey? Yes, yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, it's not really a public hearing now. I don't think we can. I'm sorry about that. Anyone else? Nothing? No? Okay. All right, so I guess we'll just go down the list there, right, Arosh, with the motions?
please, that'll be
And
helpful.
so we'll go ahead and start. Yeah,
Move to approve that the benefit fund in the form presented to this meeting be and hereby is approved and adopted together with such modifications as in the opinion of counsel for the town are necessary or desirable to effectuate the intention thereof and to comply with the requirements of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 as amended.
thank you. Second on that.
Second,
Any further comments or discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so moved. One abstention. Okay, Donna. Thank you. And the second motion,
Move to approve that participants in the benefit fund shall be required to contribute 8% of his or her compensation to the benefit fund. And the town of Berlin shall pick up participant contributions required made to the benefit fund in accordance with the Internal Revenue Code section 414H2, so that such contributions will be treated as an employer contributions for federal income tax purposes and will not be included in the current income of participants.
second on that.
second,
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
One abstention. All right, Number 3, motion.
Move to approve that the assets of the benefit fund shall be held in trust with an individual or corporate fiduciary as duly appointed by the town council, serving as the trustee of the benefit fund for the exclusive benefit of the benefit fund participants and their beneficiaries, and that the assets of the benefit fund shall not be diverted to any other purpose.
Second on that.
second,
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstention. And number 4.
Move to approve that Berlin defined contribution plan shall be amended to exclude all town police officers hired on or after July 1st, 2023 from participating in the defined contribution plan. Cease the active participation of the Berlin defined contribution plan for those town police officers that elect to participate in the benefit fund. Provide for the transfer of his or her entire account not to exceed the buy-in amount under the Berlin defined contribution plan to the benefit fund. Or to include such modifications as in the opinion of the pension council for the town are necessary or desirable to effectuate the intention thereof.
Thank you. Second on that.
second,
Thank you. Any other comments or questions on this motion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Abstentions, one abstention, and number 5.
Move to approve that the town manager, the finance director, or any other officer of the town designated by the town manager be and hereby is authorized and empowered for and on behalf of the town to execute such documents and to take any and all other actions which may be necessary or desirable in order to effectuate the intention of the foregoing resolutions.
A second on that?
Second.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from the council on this motion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. One abstention on this one. Okay, so that takes care of that. Before we move off of this, just 1 second. Done. That's the first time done.
So I'd like to just make one comment. I am abstaining from this because obviously most of you know that my husband is a police officer. And of course, this pension plan does affect myself personally, along with my husband. I certainly think this is a wonderful thing that we're doing. I think it's well deserved. I think we need it. We need to recruit, retain what we have, the talent that we have. So it's not that I don't like what we're doing. It's just that I think that it's best that I don't vote on any of it. So thank you, everybody.
Appreciate it, Donna. Thank you for that. Okay, so we're good on this, right? All set?
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
All right, moving along.
Oof, boy, that's a long road.
Still on the,
We got there.
yes, this is,
It's been a
again,
long road for that pension plan.
thank you, everyone, for your.
Yes, everyone. Thank everyone in the town and the committee, the union, leadership, and everybody. There's been many, many players and everyone, town attorney, everyone, everyone's worked hard on this, finance director. You name it, it touched many departments in town and you know, we had a great committee that worked for. I think that I wasn't there in the very beginning, but I want to say a couple of years maybe, right? Ultimately, from
Yeah.
when we started
We
discussion.
Started talking about Siemens.
Started talking about it and but anyway, so yeah, no, thanks to everybody. We all got through it. It didn't seem like we would once in a while, John, but we did. We brought it to the finish line and I'm happy we did. And the town will be a safer place for it and a better police department for it. So that's great. All right.
Right, thank you. Agenda item number 2,
Oh, now they want a new contract too? I mean,
Oh.
come on, you just got the pension plan, John.
Paula is determined not to let any of these contracts expire, so it's going June 30th, and
Yeah.
she's been working with the General Order Police Lodge 56 Union. And they work well together. Chief was involved, I was involved at the end, finance director, and I would just invite Paula to
Sure.
come and give a quick.
Yes,
recap.
please. Thank you. Hi, Paul. Good. How you doing?
All right, so as did last year when I did the mid-management, I just provided you guys a summary. There's a lot more with this. We did a lot of, cleaning up language, going through things. I'm actually really proud of this contract. I think we did a really good job with it. So I just tried to point out some of the more major items. The first item is the salary increases. So it's 2.25% for 2023, 2.5% for 2024, and 2.75% for 2025. In addition to that, all full-time members will receive a 1% law enforcement service stipend, which will be effective for all 3 years. This is really just to cover the unexpected circumstances since 2020. Everything that's been going on in the last few years, and obviously our police have put in, additional hours. So we wanted to support that. It kind of also, I did a benchmark study of towns that are comparable that we compete against, Newington, Weathersfield. So this helps us, along with the pension, really be where
Right.
we need to be all around, so we can continue to recruit. I feel really comfortable with that. Just a few other things. They did shift changes. This is going to the 5-3s. This was a big item for them that they wanted, and I think it's going to be beneficial. And then you'll see going into the next page, that also modifies their actual work days. So the 5.1 is, we did put language in there. You'll see there with the option to renegotiate if we're understaffed at some point and this doesn't end up working. We put that language in there so it could be re-looked at. We're hoping that will never happen. We're moving forward. So, but just in case.
Good.
we added language for comp time, so that's the second page, 5.13A. And then the next two items, 8.3 and 8.4, are items that we discussed and added in, again, trying to move the town of Berlin forward. So allowing more of a paternity leave for officers. So this gives them up to 30 days that they can use of their sick time, which they didn't have before. I think it was two weeks prior. And then some language regarding actual maternity leave as well. And then this last piece was just adding in the retirement benefit, allowing, right now, Lloyd's of London is just for, I think the DB. This will allow, going forward, officers to actually do a cost share so they can continue to be in it. Now they can't be. So they would pay 50% of the premium and then the town would pay 50% of the premium. That kind of covers that disability because that was something we had to
Yes.
discuss with the pension. Yeah, so we agreed on this.
Right.
Any questions?
No, so I just, just in general, I would assume this, framework here is, like you said, matches our surrounding towns and, what they have to offer their officers.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. So I did a study, like I said, of Newington, Weathersfield, other ones that were comparable to Berlin, but not necessarily ones that we are competing against. Because there's two different, we can say that there's comparable towns, but those are not towns that officers that are applying here, are applying there, but like Newington and Weathersfield, they are. So this puts us more in line with those so that we can get them instead of.
Yes, that's the goal of all this. Yes, that's the goal, to keep what we have, our fine officers that work for us now, and to add some other great ones to the force, so. Great. Okay, questions? You guys have questions on this at all? We had it in our packet, we looked at it. Anything? We're good.
I mean,
Yes, yes,
just a shout out to the union leadership.
yes.
Worked really well with us and then unanimous vote from the group,
Oh, great,
with the council.
great. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, thank you, John, and your union board, and yeah. Yeah, it's good. Now, it's been a good working relationship. I'm glad to hear that it continued with the contract. I'm sure it would have, because it, like I said, it worked out with the pension, so. Great, okay, so we have no other comments or questions, no other issues. Everybody's seems to be happy. So, which is hard to do these days with anything. So we'll go ahead and take a motion.
Move to approve and authorize the town manager to enter into a contract with the Berlin Police Union Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 56 from July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2026.
Second on that?
Second.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from the council? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
One abstention. All right, thank you, Donna. Understood. All right,
Thank you. No,
Thank you.
thank you.
don't go anywhere.
No, don't go anywhere. I see there's more. Yes, we see that.
On a roll. with
Yes, let her-
Contracts.
Let her, all right. See you, John. Thank you. All right. Thank you.
So the next one is with the dispatchers union, and that's been completed and voted as well unanimously. So I'll let Paula give you the highlights on that.
Great.
Another group been great to work with.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
This was, I think, 2 meetings and we were done. So it was actually yeah,
Well,
I think that's a
Well.
record for myself as well.
that might be a record, yeah.
So same thing, we just added in language to update their current rotation schedule. And then some additional language here for flex working hours that they had asked for. We had no issue with it. Revising just the carryover for the vacation, which just makes it more consistent with the other contracts already. And then second page, 14.6 and 14.7, adding in the same language that we did for the police officers for the paternity leave and then the FMLA. Same thing to keep it consistent. And then 26.1, we just kind of modified this. This is the same language that we have in the other contracts. So again, trying to just keep all the contracts consistent. And then the last item, the salary increases. I didn't put it in here because this is a little bit more complicated. So in the contract itself on page 18, you'll see where it's outlined. So normally you're used to seeing a percentage. In this case, again, I did a benchmark salary survey. Mostly Newington, Weathersfield, Cromwell, towns that we compete against. We were anywhere from 5 to 16,000 under in salary. So I wanted to give a shout out to Kevin, our finance director. He really worked the numbers here. And it made more sense in this case to do a dollar increment opposed to a increase. To really, what we're basically doing is resetting the salary schedule.
Okay.
So then going forward, we can do percentages, but this gets us over a 3-year span where we need to be so that we're comparable with, again, the towns that we're competing against.
Makes sense. Okay, great. Questions? Anybody have questions on this? Yes, yeah.
Just one.
yeah.
Now they'll be allowed to accumulate and use vacation time carried on to the next year. I think it's 2 weeks, 80 hours. Is there a limit?
2 weeks.
And how much they can carry?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
2
no more
weeks.
than the 2 weeks. That's it.
but if they carry 1 year to the next, they can only carry that same year to the next.
That's
Right.
still 2 weeks. I
Right,
think,
it's
every-
no matter what, it's just 2 weeks every year that they can carry and then that's it. So if they end up, not using that, they lose it.
Peter, just for clarification, all other unions currently have that, but they have to use it before November, that's November. So 2 weeks that they carry forward, they gotta use it.
Thank you.
And again, like you said, it caps at 2 weeks if you don't take any. And it's available to other unions, so it's only fair.
Right.
to get the same.
Okay. Any other questions? We're good?
Just the rationale for
Yes,
that. The
yes.
Summer tends to be, everybody wants to take time off in the summer, and summer is also busy time for a lot of us.
Mhm.
Sure.
Especially the trades and others doing work, so keep some flexibility for the folks to, take it towards the end of the summer if it doesn't work.
Okay. If we're good, we'll go ahead and take a motion. Everybody's.
Move to approve and authorize the town manager to enter into a contract with Emergency Dispatchers, CALU Local 911 from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2026.
Thank you. Second on that? Yeah, safely, there. Safe, finally safe, yes, yes. Okay, great. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, so moved.
Thank you.
Paula,
right.
thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Paula.
Good work.
Thanks for all your hard work on this stuff. I know it's fun, you love it, I know. Yeah.
Agenda item number 4, is the Timberland Golf Course equipment lease. We had a
Hearing,
public hearing on this. Sal gave you an explanation last time. This is what the staff uses. And again, it's if you really look at it, it's like a $500-600 a month. But since it's a lease, it has to come in front of you. That's one of my favorites, but it's here. So Sal, see if you have any questions.
no, we talked about this already anyway. Any questions, folks? Yeah,
Talked about it the last. meeting.
yes, the last meeting we talked
We
about it
answered
too,
their
yeah,
questions Then,
correct.
yeah.
Yeah, we had already discussed this, so. Okay, then we'll go ahead and take a motion.
Move to authorize the town manager to sign the lease document to approve the contract to lease golf course utility carts from EasyGo using PNC Bank National Association in the amount not exceeding $34,348.73. The yearly payments will be in the amount not exceeding $6,879.73. Starting 8/1/23 and ending 8/1/27.
All right, thank you. Second on that? Okay, any other comments or questions on this motion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote on the motion on the floor. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.
Great, thank you. Agenda item number 5, change to the report from the 8-24 report that we received, which is pertaining to 143 Percival Avenue. Since Mr. Mahoney's been working on this, I'll have him walk you through this and get a hearing on this, so there'll be more explanation. Over to you, Jim. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Same as last time, you previously approved these things, but we needed to do an updated 824 report. 3 items, one are One is to do the lot line revision to get the rest of the baseball field onto the personal field property, the 0.25 acres. Second is to sell the 4.65 acre 143 Percival Avenue property to the Housing Authority. And then to do the lease of 4.15 acres of Percival Field to the Housing Authority, subject to the conservation easement that's in place to the state of Connecticut.
Okay, yep. Thank you. Any questions? I mean, we've discussed this project not only tonight at our public meeting, but obviously for years, we've discussed this project. So we're pretty familiar with most of it. So any other questions on this particular, these motions? No? Okay, we'll go ahead and take the first motion on this.
Move to authorize a lot line revision and add a 0.25 acre portion to 143 Percival Avenue to Percival Field parcel map 8-4 block 54 lot 69 prior to the sale of 143 Percival Avenue.
Thank you. Second on that? If there's no other comments or questions, we'll go ahead and take a vote on the motion. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Second motion.
Move to affirm the previous actions of the town council to authorize the town manager to execute documents to facilitate transfer of title and ground lease execution for the sale of 143 Percival Avenue, 4.65 acres after the lot line revision, and the lease of 4.15 acre portion Percival Field parcel map 8-4 block 54 lot 65 to the Berlin Housing Authority, all as shown on the survey of Angus McDonald, Gary Sharp and Associates Incorporated dated October 4th, 2017.
Second on that? Any other comments or questions on this? What we discussed in our public hearing time? Okay, take a vote on this. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, so moved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you taking agenda item number 6, Jim? I don't see Chris on the line.
Sure, if Chris is not here.
Excellent. Or Kokomo
Yes,
Old
Mhm.
Brickyard Lane.
that's, we've got our tax abatement policy. This is for a new building of 21,500 square feet on Old Brickyard Lane. It's a recommendation of the Economic Development Commission is 50% in year 1, 40% in year 2, 30% in year 3, 20% in 4, and 10% in year 5 for the town's tax abatement policy.
Okay, yeah, no, we following our policy here. They fit into the how it's written, so. Any questions for Jim on this? No, we're good. All right, we'll go and take a motion.
Move to approve a tax abatement for Kokomo Old Brickyard Lane LLC for the construction of a 21,500 square foot building at 166 Old Brickyard Lane of 50% in year 1, 40% in year 2, 30% in year 3, 20% in year 4, and 10% in year 5 for the town's tax abatement policy.
Thank you. Second on that. Hearing no more comments or questions. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Right,
Thank you.
Thank you. I think, Jim, you're still here.
Yes.
Section 8-24 review of 522 and 544 Berlin Turnpike. Something that went to P and Z and it's back now for your approval. Jim, want to say
Right.
anything?
Again, just, there are water and sewer pipes on town property that feed the, 554 Berlin Turnpike. They've been there a long time. They're doing a sale of part of the property to the existing tenant. So wanted an easement to recognize the existing sewer and water pipes, and it went to planning and zoning, I believe. So that's basically what's going on here.
All right, thank you, Jim.
Yep.
Questions? Not, we'll go ahead and take a motion.
Move to approve an easement from town to 550-554 Berlin Turnpike Associates LLC for 3 drainage pipes from 522 and 554 Berlin Turnpike. They are located on or discharged onto the town or Berlin Water Control property known as 604 Berlin Turnpike, MBL 10-1-83-16, subject to review and approval of Corporation Council.
Second on that? Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
The next 2 agenda items are from the library. First one is the annual buying that the library does with the Connecticut Library Consortium. I'm going to invite our director, Kim McNally, to come and talk to you about this.
Hello,
Hey, how are you, Kim?
good. How are you?
Good.
Good. Okay, so I am requesting to waive the town's bidding procedures and approve purchase orders for the 2024 fiscal year. We belong to both the Connecticut Library Consortium and then Library Connection Incorporated, so we are able to get the best discounts possible. So for the last 5 years, we have been approved for these bidding waivers, and this is in the best interest of the town. So the first one is for Baker and Taylor for a total of $71,100. And that is for $3,100 worth of supplies and $68,000 worth of books. The second vendor is Library Connection Incorporated, and the total is $58,933. This covers some of our databases, it covers some supplies, it covers data services, and then also audiovisual. That is $58,930.
Thank you. Questions for Kim? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and take a motion on this.
Move to waive the town's bidding procedures and approve issuing purchase orders for the 2023-24 fiscal year for the following vendors due to the library's participation in the Connecticut Library Consortium and in the Library Connections Incorporated. As the best discounts have already been provided, both vendors have been approved for bidding waivers in at least the last 5 fiscal years. This is in the best interest of the town.
All right, thank you on that. Second? All right, any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. So next item, the agenda item number 9. At the beginning of the year, we started informing you or giving presentations, all this good work done by boards and commissions, working with the staff, and with Kim coming on board with new leadership at the library. Library is doing more than books. So I thought it'll be
Probably a lot more.
unfortunately, one of the board members who's supposed to be here couldn't be here because of conflict, so Kim's going to carry
So,
everything with
yeah,
Jennifer. I'll turn it over to you.
Needham, and she is our head of children's and teen services. She's going to share a little bit about summer reading
That's
and just
great.
a little bit. But Arosh, thank you for that introduction because that is exactly the sentiment that I want to talk about tonight. So thank you for having me. I'm always really excited to be able to talk about the library and all of the things that we're doing and offering and loaning. And I know I have a bit of a reputation for being a talker. So I'll keep it brief. Let's see. I think I set my my timer here. 4 minutes. No more, no less. Okay. So I'll start off by saying that this has not been an easy year for libraries in general. And I'm not necessarily talking about our library, but libraries around Connecticut and around the country. There have been a number of challenges, book challenges, organizational challenges, financial challenges. And I think when that is the one thing that kind of gets all of the attention, we don't have an opportunity to talk about the people that we are serving every day. And here in Berlin, that is the patron who is a senior citizen who rides the senior bus and comes to our library every day. She can barely see, and we help take care of so many things for her. And she also uses our adaptive computers. Or the gentleman who comes in and uses our internet stations every day, loves to talk about DVDs, loves to peruse our DVD collection. And we didn't see him for a few weeks. And we were like, oh my goodness, we haven't seen so-and-so for a while. And when we finally saw him, we found out that he had taken a fall, had been in the hospital. So, you know, people really do come to the library and kind of count on us to be their people. So I said to him, when I saw him, I was like, do you have a support system? And he said, not really. And I asked him if he needed any help. And that's when we were able to direct him to senior services. He needed help with grocery delivery and with laundry. We have another patron that came in, a mother from Ukraine who brought her child to story time. And she was so grateful that we had the story time available for her to be able to bring her children to help them learn English. And then finally, we did a second grade visit this year. And we had one little second grade guy who said, what do you mean you have video games here? I thought libraries were just for books. And I think that was not what I expected a second grader to say. I thought he was for sure going to want the video games. But I think it's really important to note that we are so much more than books. And in fact, we own 90,802 physical items in our collection. We circulated 163,066 items so far this year. We also have issued 747 library cards, and today we're going to make that 754 because you all are going to get library cards.
Great.
Jennifer, I've put,
Nice.
I believe in the order.
Go with it, yeah. I know I have one, but I know it's expired. I know it's expired. I think they did, yeah.
This is so exciting.
Oh, thank you for Charlie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I get one.
Where's
Oh,
Jeff? Jeff gets nothing.
All right, thank you very much,
That's so
Jennifer.
cute.
Pass that down. Here you go.
That's wonderful.
Oh, we get you one, Jen.
Great.
I'll get you one.
Here's,
Great. Thank you.
yeah, we got more. Yeah, we got one of these for Jeff. There you go.
Thank you.
Sure.
There we go.
This is wonderful.
One for.
Thank you.
Sorry.
That's okay.
This is so wonderful.
Intentional. We do welcome everyone. And you know what? I'll
Except for
get
Jeff,
the
we don't want
library
him.
card.
Jeff,
He just wants video games anyway. He doesn't want
this is so nice.
books.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for this. This is great.
This
Sure.
is wonderful.
So your library card is your access to all things that you need and things you didn't realize that you wanted. So in the last year and a half, we have added a Lucky Day collection. Over the first year of that collection, we added 100 items to our new book selection. So basically those are bestsellers that have lots of holds on them. If you come into the library and you've been wanting that book and it's there, it's your lucky day.
Yeah.
No one can place any holds on those particular copies. They come right back to our library. You can come in and get your Lucky Day book. In our children's section, we have added IRL books. Now, I think that stands for in real life, but I'll double check on that. They are actually.
It does. It does.
This is so cute.
Thing, I think, right? So basically they are books that have virtual reality with them. So
Ah.
you can read the book, wear the little paper goggles and actually see the action that's going on in the books. They're fun.
Ah.
They're for kids.
Wow.
And I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, I don't read books anymore, but that's okay because we have you covered. We have ebooks too. So if you have a
Nice.
Kindle or you read on your tablet, you can check out ebooks for free at our library.
Like it.
Yeah. We also added a solar powered charging table in our front yard. So if there's a power outage, I think there are 4 seats and there'll probably be a mad dash for that.
Wow.
We installed MeScan, which allows patrons to check out items using their smartphone in the stacks. And then we also have an app. So last week I was at the New York Public Library and I was getting a tour of the new Midtown branch. And they were commenting about how they have an app. And I was like, wow, that's new. We've had that for 18 months. So we have the Library Connection app. If you download it, then you can see our events. You can register for events. You can check our catalog, place holds, all from your phone. And then we gave out more than 300 seed packets this past spring as part of our seed library. Patrons can check out seeds, start a garden. Don't need to bring those back, but you can bring in your old seeds if you want. And we do also loan those out to patrons.
Oh.
And then we have a library of things. So we have cake pans, the seed library I mentioned. We have board games, memory kits, a metal detector. We have a karaoke machine. We have a projector. So if you want to try out a family movie night but don't want to pay for it, you can come check it out with your library card. It's free. And then, of course, I think what brings a lot of people to our library are our programs. And I think the jewel in our crown is our summer reading program. So I hope Jennifer tell you a little bit about that.
And whether you want them or not, you're gonna get them.
Nice.
So this is basically, this is our busiest time of the year. Kids are out of school, and they're coming to library. We provide the entire summer reading program. We work very closely with the schools. The schools send the information home to the kids about our programs and our services, and they come through the doors starting basically the day after school ends. So it's super duper crazy. We have 3 different programs for 3 different ages. We do one called the Rubber Ducky Club. I'm gonna pass these down to you. Take a look. It's for kids birth through a preschool. They earn little rubber duckies for doing basic literacy activities for their parents. It's a great way to get
cool.
get the families reading together and to get the kids
Oh,
ready
okay.
to enter kindergarten as
Oh,
well.
okay.
We also do a program which we've been doing now since about 2017 called Read and Bead, and it's for grades K through 5. It's extremely popular. Basically, kids, every day that they read, they get a bead for their necklace, and I'm wearing one now. They get necklaces
Oh,
and rag
okay.
tags.
Cool.
We have kids who have been in the program for a number of years now who have saved necklaces because they love them so much. So they've accumulated several of them and they save them year to year. They'll even wear them to school on the first day of school. So it's
Oh.
really, really popular.
Cool.
Every year I'd say we have over 500 kids participate just in the Read and Bead program.
Wow.
Yeah, and the teachers like it, the parents like it, the kids love it. And we
Wow.
also have for you. For the teens in grades 6 through 12, we do a program called the Teen Scratch Ticket Challenge, and I'm going to pass you guys some scratch tickets. Get lucky, got a prize. Every time they check material.
$1 million lottery ticket or what?
Yeah.
What is it? You're gonna fund the town budget with this? Yeah.
Every time they check something out, they get a scratch ticket. They also get a scratch ticket if they volunteer.
This looks like a
at the
winner here. I'm gonna
library.
give you the,
I should
these
say
might be the
because we
losers. I
are
don't know.
So busy at the library this time of the year, we rely on teen volunteers. We have about 60 now.
Oh, wow.
So
Nice.
yeah, and we couldn't do it without them. So they get scratch tickets just for volunteers.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice.
We
That's
do a
great.
lot of programs. I think in their packets, yeah, I'm not gonna give you got enough. You've got enough.
Oh, oh, that's good.
Yeah, so there's a calendar of events. We do a lot of events this time of the year, not just the story times, but the family programs that bring in a lot of families over the summer. We really we help Summer Slide. I don't know if you're familiar with Summer Slide. Kids
Yeah.
lose, their learning experiences over the summer, and this way we help them to retain some of that information so that when they go back to school, they're not as behind as they ordinarily would. And it's a great time of the year. It's really fun. It's a little crazy. But we love it. The kids love it. The parents have a great time. So we're gearing up for July, which is basically it's our busiest month of the whole year.
Wow. Okay.
So
Yeah.
come on down with your new cards.
We're gonna get down there. We're coming down there.
Immersive reality books,
Absolutely.
video games.
Yes.
Fun.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so I'm at 10 minutes, so I'll hurry up and finish the rest of
Okay.
this.
Clock's ticking. Kim, now it's
I
okay.
know it
whatever.
is.
No, it's okay. Don't
So
worry about it.
if you want to take your family to a museum, but you don't want to pay the admission,
Yeah.
you can check out a pass to a museum at our library. And in fact, you can do it from home on your computer, print out the pass, go to the museum, and you're done. So that's a really nice convenience.
Oh, yeah, that's new. Yeah.
So for those people who can't come to the library, we bring the library to them. We have a homebound delivery service. We serve about 15 to 20 people per month.
Really?
Bring them a bag of books or audiobooks, whatever they request. And it's really cute because we do tend to get to know them and we know what they like. And so our regular volunteers will take the books to them, which is
Oh, nice.
fantastic.
Nice.
We're always looking for ways to make our library more accessible. In the past year, we've introduced an access card, which allows patrons without a permanent address in Berlin to get a library card and check out 5 items. So an example of someone who maybe doesn't have a permanent address would be someone in foster care, someone, grandchildren visiting their grandparents, someone experiencing houselessness. So we're really excited to be able to offer that because I think we're the only library in our consortium that does that. And a couple other libraries have reached out to us to talk to us about how they might be able to do it too. And then, of course, we finalized our diversity, equity, and accessibility statement, which is the first of its kind here at the town of Berlin. And it just makes clear the steps that we're taking to make our library a welcoming place because everyone is welcome here. And finally, I'm just really happy to report that the inside of our library, the warmth matches the warmth of our customer service now. We have a fantastic staff. And we've long prided ourselves on the customer service that we provide, and we are complimented on it daily, at least once a day. And that is really because of the awesome staff that we have. Many of the people who work for us live here in Berlin. And we have one person who's been with us for 33 years. We have someone else who's been with us for 23 years and many other people who have been with the library for 10 years or more. I mean, I'm kind of one of the new kids on the block and I've been here for 2 years. So very quickly, I'll just end with this story. My husband and I relocated to Connecticut 5 years ago from Oregon. So we were here on a house hunting trip and we had this young realtor who we had drive us all over Connecticut. I mean, Madison, Milford, West Hartford. We wanted to experience the whole place because we weren't sure exactly where we wanted to land. On our way to West Hartford, he's like, I don't know why you guys just are going to West Hartford. I mean, I live in Berlin. I would just live there. And I remember sitting in the back of the car thinking to myself, Berlin, where is that? Never heard of it. I'm like, I so wish that I had a time machine because I had no idea that 3 years later I would be working in this community and I know exactly why people want to live here. It's a wonderful community. The people are friendly. It is pastoral and we have fantastic library support. So I feel like I could, why are you laughing at me?
That's true.
I'm just really so grateful to be working here and serving this
You
community.
can move here, right?
So you want to know something?
Yes.
I got back from Timberland event last week and I said to my husband, I was like, gosh, Berlin's really nice. And he was like, don't even think about it right now.
Yeah, tough time to move.
He agreed with me, but we've lived in Middletown and then now we live in Weathersfield. So I
Oh,
think he doesn't want to move again, but
Yeah.
if we could, we would
I don't blame
because
them. Yeah, and moving.
it'd be awesome here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Never say never. You
No, you
never
don't.
know. But I just think it's really funny. I remember distinctly sitting in the back seat, like, where's Berlin? What is that? Now here I am. All right. Thank you guys
Yeah,
so
well,
much.
we got a
I
question?
have a question.
Yes.
Probably the biggest question I'm asked about, the most question I have about the library is on passports.
Yeah.
Do you renew them? Okay.
You don't have to do this first. You can do that through the name. But if you're
First
getting
time?
First time passport, yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Kim, thank you so much for this update. Jennifer too.
Sure. And just on that note, really quickly, we did 506 passports this year so far.
Oh,
So-
wow.
And you know what? I would be remiss without handing these out. I know it's a lot of paper,
All right.
but I asked Andrea, who does all of our marketing, I said, I just need a piece to take to the town council next week. We have this information. It's just not quite so pretty. And she made this one in 24 hours.
Nice. Great. And I have a handout for you too. How about that? Just one little piece of paper. I tried to save some trees, but yeah, no. So, yeah, the golf thing. So this is the, just pass that down to Kim. So that's the Friends of the Library guy who ran it for Rocky Hill. And if you call him, I'm sure he'll hook you up with the gentleman who puts it together. You know, they hire him. So like I said, it was very successful in Rocky Hill. So, might work out. It was a fundraiser. They made quite a bit of funding there, so. Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for coming in.
Yeah,
No.
for
A
sure.
lot's going on and that's wonderful to hear.
Always lots going on.
Thank you for
Yes.
the library cards.
Yeah, and that too.
Really.
That's great.
appreciate That.
We'll be there.
She didn't-
While
she
Kim
didn't
is,
brag about the new carpet.
we got more
Whether
stuff.
we want it or not, we got it, yeah. Yes, yes, no. Oh, well, wait, let's
Back
see.
back.
Well, all right.
This is so fun.
Yes, you need more funding? Yes. No, all right, just kidding. What, yeah, I figured that.
Jen,
We gotta use the mic so that
On the
people
mic.
can hear. Yeah. Yeah, but
How many people on average come to a story time?
On average story time,
Average story,
20.
40,
50.
50?
wow,
Wow.
Winner.
Nobody gets a bag.
nobody deserves that.
I- Huh?
I'm close to that.
Casey?
I said 50, but it wasn't my first
yes,
guess.
okay.
It's all right, you said 50.
The last question
Got it.
is, how old was the library
winner.
carpet when it was replaced this year?
Oh,
What was the question?
30 years,
Was it
No,
was-
no,
40?
35,
go close to,
Nope,
45?
50?
nope, no.
What was
Between,
the question? I'm sorry.
how old was the library carpet when it was replaced this year?
37?
Oh, someone.
20.
Can't remember. Yeah, we did. We did talk about it.
Okay, so it's under 35.
33.
30, who said 33?
I did, but I already got a bag.
34.
okay.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Good night, you guys.
Good, thank you. Thank you so much. We'll
Cute.
try not to go another 33 years before we replace the next carpet, right?
So kind.
I hope you sense their
Yeah, me too.
enthusiasm and
Yeah,
excitement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, of course.
I just feel bad for the folks who are coming after this.
Oh, boy.
The agenda item.
Yeah,
They better have some show and tell and fun.
better have
stuff
some,
to do.
yeah.
Nice.
Hey, Kim, yeah, the people we're talking about it that are coming after you, we want stuff passed. We want to win prizes and stuff now. What?
Oh,
Yeah. Win more prizes.
Yep.
Cool. Oh, we'll be there. Yeah.
great.
All right. Thank you,
you, Kim.
guys.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you, ladies. Okay, where are we at now?
All right, number 10 is McGee Outdoor Classroom Project. I think Doug, I don't see Mr. Kugner there.
What happened? Did he fall asleep? Doug, you awake now?
Yeah, I was thinking Kugner.
You said for the library.
All right, Doug, over to you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. How are you tonight?
Hey, Doug.
Yeah, that's covering for Mr. Cogno tonight. The Board of Ed and their administration has taken the lead on this project. They've done a wonderful job of getting it to where it is at this point. The town will be getting more involved now with purchasing, Corporation Council, completing the bid package, getting that ready to go out on the street. So this next component is to utilize some federal funding. The purpose for this approval is just for the checklist, the federal compliance for the grant funding. So it's under our threshold, but we want to document the purchase. It's going to require the prevailing wage and some extra contracts. So they did receive the 3 quotes, worked with the engineer and the architect for the project, and requesting approval to proceed with the lowest bidder it met the spec from solicitation.
Okay. All right, thanks. Thanks, Doug. Okay. Questions on this?
Did this go through Public Building Commission, this whole project?
No, not this one. This was a grant that the Board of Ed received. It's been about a year now. It went through P and Z, the Board of Ed for approval, and it's a curriculum-based project for a program. It's going to be an outdoor classroom learning environment space.
I just don't understand why the Public Building Commission doesn't get involved in these things, like with the rehab of the classrooms for the YMCA to use, and this project, this isn't under Public Building Commission purview.
Based, unless it's recommended, it has to be $1 million plus per the charter. So typically these smaller projects run through the Board of Ed in the town, Public Works. Facilities, Board of Ed, Public Works, the internal departments,
And so less than $1 million, the commission doesn't see it.
unless the council requests it. Or anybody else that wants to refer the project to the council.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Okay, I'll let the answers on some right now.
How big of an area is it for? Will this be? Because it's saying, you know, it 4 by 8 by 10, 10 by 10 by 5s. How big of an area is this encompassing?
I'm not sure if you had a chance to look at the site plan, but it shows this guardrail layout on the site plan. It basically follows the roadway along the perimeter of the classroom area, up around the corner, up to the rear of the school. It's this guardrail is very consistent with what you'd see at a state park, that type of timber style. The post with the 4 by 8 rail, very consistent with what the state does at all their parks and decorative areas.
Thank you.
The questions, folks? Yeah.
Did you mention prevailing wages on this one?
Yes, the way this project is working is there was X amount of dollars through a federal grant, which will be expended. A portion of that was already pre-approved to purchase the pavilion. The remaining funds will be used for the guardrail and some other ancillary support of the project. And then what will go out to bid through Board of Ed funding, through some other grants, I believe, would be the slab portion, the excavation, and then all the other scope defined in the preliminary draft of the site plan that's been shared to this point.
So when you say go out to bids, are you gonna go get 3 bids on those projects?
This most likely for the remaining scope will most likely be a bid package that will be publicly bid. We're still working with the Board of Ed and the architect and the engineer to determine the best course of action moving forward.
Is there a performance bond required on this one?
Yes, all the bonding contracts, we have our checklist now based on what happened last year. So going to be a lot more thorough with these projects, especially with the federal funding.
Okay.
I'm good.
Any other questions? No? Okay, if there are other questions or concerns, we'll go ahead and have a motion.
Move to approve a contract for construction of a timber guardrail as specified by A1 Engineering for the proposed outdoor classroom project at McGee School in the amount of $15,825 from the grant account, subject to review of the contract documents by the Corporation Council.
Second on that?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doug.
Agenda item number 11 is the South Kensington Firehouse re-roofing bid award. They're already allocated funding, ready to move forward. Doug, I'll turn it over to you.
Yes, thank you. This is another project. As you remember, it came up last year. There's a few contributing factors last year why this was delayed, but the most important one was the availability of roofing materials, contractors, and the escalated cost. So we did defer this a year. It seems to be in our favor. We came in, well under what the project had in the budget, and it's a qualified contractor that we've worked with before on 2 school projects. So we're confident to move forward with that. It went through design, public bid, and we're ready to move ahead.
Doug, didn't we get some money from the state for this project as well, or am I incorrect in stating that? I thought there
No.
was some monies that were approved in the budget. And I think this was one of the items out of the $250,000 that was allocated to the town of Berlin.
This was previous funding from, I think, 2 years ago. It was a carryover of some surplus and some other allocations. But I do remember seeing that recently, that some
Yeah, I'm pretty
additional.
sure it was roofing South Kensington, no?
It's not for the roof.
What was
That
parking
building
lot?
needs A lot more work.
Okay.
For other items that are not, other than the roof. They had a
Okay,
whole
I thought it
laundry
was
list of
specifically
items in
mentioned
there.
roofing. Okay. All right,
Yeah,
thank you.
Yes, there will be some additional work. Some previous work was done over the last few years. The boiler was replaced, some interior renovations in the club room, overhead door work. And if some remember, about 2017, there was a conceptual plan for an expansion. That's been on hold since then, but this additional funding through the state could help.
Yeah, I
fire
know it needs a
administrator.
lot of work. I've been there
Yeah.
recently. Yeah.
We had a flood and it
Yeah.
got damaged, the air conditioner broke or something.
Ugh.
happened.
We're
This was a couple of
looking at,
years ago.
Okay.
Looking at some renovations upstairs, potential repurpose of the space for training room,
Yeah.
remodeling of the restrooms, building out the space, but we're working with the police chief, the commission, and to look at what's best and what would really suit their needs for the existing space after the roof is done and the building's weather tight again.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for Doug?
No, I just want to say I'm glad we're moving forward with this. I live near this building and it was a good schoolhouse, I think, but it's not really a great fire station. So we really ought to look at some serious improvements in there in the near future.
I'm glad we're getting the roof fixed finally.
Yeah.
A
Mhm.
long time coming. so.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, if there's no other comments or concern, we'll go ahead and take a motion.
Move to award bid number 2023-22 to Imperial Company of Cromwell, Connecticut in the amount of $99,000 and approve utilizing remaining project account fund for up to $43,000 for project contingency and prevailing wage if needed, for a total project cost not to exceed $142,000 for the roofing replacement and associated work at South Kensington Firehouse main building.
Second on that.
I'll second that.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Doug.
you. Have a good night.
All right, thanks, Doug.
Aye, Doug.
Agenda item number 12 is something we tabled last time, purchase of a Kubota tractor. It's utilizing a Sourcewell contract. I think Mr. Wood is here for his show and tell.
Oh, show and tell. Did you bring the?
I was gonna bring some tractors.
Yeah, did you bring it outside?
I just couldn't get them up.
Oh, all right.
I just want to comment before you start. The front of this building looks awesome.
I will let the
It
guys
is-
know. they do a
yes.
Great job and they take so much.
And,
pride in it.
and my place needs a lot of work.
I'll send it
Looks,
over.
yeah, right, right.
So this funding is coming from the DEP grant. Instead of buying it through the project, we took it out of the project because we were able to use Sourcewell and do the consortium pricing. So the first thing is a Kubota tractor. The tractor will be used to groom and maintain the field, but also be able to plow so the kids and the teachers that come from Madison Drive will be able to walk to school.
Yeah.
So that is the first.
Cool.
The 6 light towers is currently right now for the last 30-something years. The field hasn't been used after 5:30. And over the last couple of years, we've been bringing portable light towers in for youth football, and youth football has been able to have their practices there. The stage 1 became softball only. And at that time, we provided light towers for only the soccer so they could have practice late at night. So these light towers, or 6 of them, will be utilized to extend practice times so people can utilize the field more than it's being utilized. Also with that, there was some concerns raised to P and Z regarding how this would affect the neighbors. We had Generac look into it. That's why we tabled it last time and we're putting dampers on it. So instead of the lights cascading straight out, the lights will cascade down, have very little splash.
Great. That's good.
Okay,
More, buying people more field time is good.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Okay, any questions for Woody? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and take a motion.
Move to approve the purchase of one Kubota 6,000 HSTC tractor with attachments from MB Tractor and Equipment utilizing Sourcewell contract number 031121-KBA in the amount not to exceed $55,000 and purchase of 6 Generac light towers utilizing Sourcewell contract number 020923 GNR in the amount not to exceed $53,316.
Second on that?
I'll second that.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, so moved.
Great, thank you. Agenda item number 13 is a request to move some funds, purchase Fisher Poly Caster Sanders. I think you're gonna talk about that.
Yes. So currently, a couple of years ago, Jimmy replaced, when the trucks were bought about 15 to 17 years ago, our trucks came in with 5-in-1 sanders, where the sander and everything was built into the back of it. Over the years, it was a very poor design and the trucks rusted out and rotted out with the Tenco bodies. It was Tenco's poor design. So Jimmy retrofitted the trucks, undercoated them, got them up and running, and we've got probably 5 or 6 years out of them since then. But with the current hydraulic pump and the hydraulic motor, it's not powerful enough to spin the sander. So if you go to any of the schools, the town buildings, you'll see a lot of the times where we sand, it's just got flops because it won't all work at the same time. So what we're looking to do is to transfer the money into the snow equipment account, purchase 3 poly sanders and slide those into the truck. Will give us accurate spreadings, accurate settings, and give us more even across the board. Like a lot of our parking, a lot of things we do are in parking lots, like you guys drive on the roads. Well, most of the sanding we have to do is where people actually get out and walk. So it does no good to be on the road or the center of the road. It has to be in the parking spot. And they've had great luck in highway with these. They put one in Danny St. Charles truck and they're just very accurate on the money. You can hit the little spit button and it'll spit it, or a glass button. They work really well.
Okay,
Sorry,
questions?
years ago, I suggested that we switch to Poly Sanders and our fleet manager assured me that they were no good and the men would never go for them.
I will tell you, they've come a long way.
Good recourse.
They were not good then.
Yeah, they were no good then.
My company.
No, it's
good.
Okay.
All right, well, maybe we should move on. Oh, so we'll go ahead. If there's no other questions or comments, we'll take a motion.
Move to approve a transfer of $30,000 from storm-related overtime account to the Parks and Grounds Capital Non-Recurring account to purchase Fisher Polycaster Sanders.
Second on that?
I'll second that.
Hearing no other comments or questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, so moved.
Have a great night, everybody.
All right,
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, stuff.
Yes.
Thanks.
Able to see what we're doing.
Agenda item number 14 is the Willard Elementary School HVAC project. We are not asking for more money, but we need to move some contingency monies around for request from the Public Building Commission. So, Mr. Hearn, I'll let you take this one.
This is a little involved. But big picture, we have everything, the Public Building Commission has everything lined up. The contractor is in place, the contract has been executed, construction manager is in place. The Doug got the environmental consultant on board. We have a mechanical designer who designed all the HVAC systems on board through the whole construction period. But Fryer Architecture, who did the exterior chiller enclosure and the interior sort of finishes and all that, their contract ended when the contract was awarded to Allstate Construction. So they have no role right now through construction, and we need them. So the reason this sort of contingency modification is in place is to free up money in that account that we have already, the ARPA, the American Rescue Plan funds. So along with the PBC, we have come up with a solution to do that within that account by reducing the contingency that you approved on May 2nd for Allstate. It's as outlined in your packet, their contract was 4.063 million. You authorized $400,000 of contingency, bringing the not to exceed to 4.463. With the built-in contingency that a Newfield Construction, who was the construction manager, put into Allstate's contract, we have enough for almost 14%. With the built-in contingencies, allowances, and unit costs, as well as The remaining, what we want to do is reduce the $400,000 contingency to $350,000. That will fund Friar Architecture's $20,000 construction admin role and leave $30,000 in case we need something else without coming back to you unless it's over the bidding amount. And this was sort of discussed. We were going to just go for 20, but then the owner's contingency allows some flexibility for the Public Building Commission. So bottom line of all this is that the first part of the motion is to reduce the not to exceed amount to let's see, make sure I have it right, $4.413 million for Allstate Construction. And that will free up $50,000 in that account for the second part of the motion, which is to fund Friar Architecture that let it to take us through till the end of next year through construction administration. So if you followed all that, you get a gold star, no library cards, but
Oh, come
bag.
on.
that's it.
What it- what it-
And I
No
think
bag.
now, yeah, we have the
No bag.
team in place for the
Just the
construction
bag, yeah.
period.
No, the rest
You
of us
never know
want
what's gonna
something.
happen. So that's sort of the situation.
You don't have a like canvas bag for the rest of us that didn't win anything? And we got Sandy and Casey won. We got nothing. Well, we got a library card.
And
I
I
got
got nothing.
Freshly paved roads by,
Nice. Okay, we'll take that. We'll take that. That's good.
How about a set of AIA contract documents?
Oh, there we
I would
go.
enjoy that.
Oh.
Every, development on Red
Yeah,
Line.
right, right.
Give them a copy of the contracts.
Yeah.
Charlie, go first.
Right. All right. That's it.
Charlie's got a question, Mike.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
trying to understand the layers of management of this thing. It amazes
know.
me.
I know.
So we have a licensed contractor that's competent to do the work, to
Right.
follow the drawings that were designed by a licensed engineer.
Right.
We have town inspectors that can make sure the rule is followed, but perhaps we need special inspectors for that work. I understand that. Okay. Now, Fire Associates designed the finishes and the enclosure you described.
Right.
We have a construction manager firm that's not licensed to do the HVAC work, overseeing the HVAC contractor. Aren't they gonna oversee the finishes and the enclosure?
They're gonna- Yeah, they're gonna oversee
Okay.
everything. Yep.
So does Fire have to oversee them?
No, Fryer is on a on-call, their quote for their construction admin is like 16.5 for a year and a half. Newfield is gonna be on site the entire time. So any change orders that come in, Newfield will be handling that. Okay, what do we do with these ceiling tiles? Are we taking the whole grid down? Newfield will be basically acting as the owner's rep on this job.
Okay, they're the owner's rep,
Right.
but then why do you need the architect?
Just in
Be a rep
case the
too.
question comes up, like, well, the contractor doesn't want to use that CMU, that block or that
Okay.
fence on the enclosure, on the, the exterior chiller enclosure, or there's a question about the pipe trench in the backfield and the geotextile they want to use. The original designer has to actually make. the call
Fire
on
isn't
those.
qualified to
RFI,
inspect the
yeah.
geotextile anyway, but
I
that's
know.
a whole
I
nother
know.
issue.
So that's sort of it. So Fryer.
We're gonna have them oversee the overseer.
No, Fryer is almost assisting the overseer.
Oh.
Yeah, so they're sort of on an on-call T&M basis. When they're needed, they'll come in. But they won't be on site every day. They won't be they'll be invited to key meetings, but they're not gonna be there. Like Newfield's gonna have their super there all the time. So does that answer your question?
Sure.
But you're right, there are. I mean, we have CES, who's the mechanical design engineer there as well, sort of like Fryer, but we think they're gonna take the bulk of the request because it's
I can understand if there's a question of
Yeah.
pipe size,
chiller.
but the guy drew a fence around an air conditioner. and
Yeah.
We gotta pay him 20 grand in case you wanna add a slat to the fence. It just amazes me to.
Well, he also had a
Anyway.
civil engineer on his team who designed, the trench detail. CES said what kind of pipe and everything else has to be, sort of in a detail and their civil engineer did that. So I'm trying to support them, but I think we do need them. Charlie?
Okay.
Okay, any other questions for Mike? If not, we'll go ahead and take the first motion.
Move to modify the previously approved not to exceed amount of $4,463,000, which included a $400,000 contingency added to the base contract value of $4,063,000 ordered to Allstate Construction Incorporated of Farmington for the contract number 2023-20 for unit ventilator replacement and HVAC upgrades on the Emma Hart Willard Elementary School, an amount not to exceed $4,413,000, which includes a $350,000 contingency.
Second on that?
I'll second that.
All right, thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? So moved.
Ready for take two?
Number two, yes, number two.
Move to waive the bidding procedure to increase the Willard HVAC account. I'm sorry, increase the Willard School HVAC design contract with Fryer Architecture Incorporated of Farmington, Connecticut by $20,065 for additional services and design services during construction, utilizing the HVAC upgrades account, as this is in the best interest of the town.
Second on that?
I'll second that.
Any other questions on this? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so moved.
Thank you. Thank you. Agenda item number 15, this is step 2 of the Brandegee Lane issue that the police commission brought to your attention.
Yes.
This speed table. This is the second part that has to do with addressing the lighting in the parking lot. And I think Public Works and PD worked, come up with a solution to establish some motion censored solar lights.
Right, yeah, this is, obviously, you know about all the complaints from the residents in that area, so, this solution would light up the two darkest corners of the parking lot that sort of centrally field, bottom of the Worthington Ridge playground, that hill there. We didn't go with standard streetlights because our last electrically powered streetlight is at the end of the street. If we had to trench all the way back to the parking lot, it would be really expensive. I already looked at that and it's, you know, sort of cost prohibitive. So these two solar powered fixtures, we put on 18-foot poles, standalone, dig a hole, stick the base in, put the pole up, and it just will start lighting. It has multiple lighting settings where you can have motion detector, like it'll dim down. If there's no motion for a while, it'll dim down to say 60%, and then if some car drives up, it'll go up to 100%. So it's sort of a nice solution for that area because it's residential. You know, so the people looking in, they won't be seeing it bright, but we can adjust. It's like got a remote control. You can have, I don't know, 6 or 8 settings for it. So what we're trying to do is get that put into the parking lot corners. You need a section 824 review by P and Z because it's enhancing a public park. You know, it is part of the park facility. So we have to go to P and Z. So that's basically it's for you to move to refer that to P and Z. And then we'll go take the process forward, assuming it's a favorable recommendation.
Okay, great. I appreciate you guys moving on that quickly. That seems like a good solution. So any questions?
Just want to,
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
on the lights, and I think, I mean, I'm sure the neighbors are going to be happy with it, but
Yep.
just where they're being placed near the homes, are they going to be able to direct the lights more away from the homes towards the parking area?
Yeah, they're like Woody said with his
Okay.
yeah,
Same kind of
they're
thing,
meant
perfect.
to be focused and not just like sort of like a big
Great.
light post.
Okay,
Because, and that's why we didn't want to, our street lights are usually 30-foot on 30-foot poles in the streets. We went with a smaller pole because we felt there was more scale, you know, sort of appropriate for the scale there.
okay. I
Keep
just didn't
it
want to
down.
trade one problem for
Yeah,
another,
yeah,
so.
we may still have, there might be a resident out there who complains, but if we adjust the
Yeah.
setting and the, you know, play around with the fixture direction, maybe angle it away from that particular resident. But
Okay,
we're trying to be sensitive to that, and planning and zoning will probably have some recommendations.
sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, other questions? No. No, all right, so go ahead and take a motion.
Move to refer the matter of installing 2 solar powered streetlights in the parking lot at the south end of Brandegee Lane to the Planning and Zoning Commission for CGS Section 8-24 review.
Second on that?
I'll second that.
Hearing no other questions or comments, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, so moved.
Thank you. Then item number 16, we need to hire Austin O'Neill to respond to some application questions for the Lot Zip Road project.
Right,
Mike?
yeah, this is, following two applications that we sent into the, Capital Region Council of Governments, or the CROG, as we call them. One is for Burnham Street and Mysterio Drive, and the other one is for Episcopal Road and Rowley Street. Total, it's like 1.6 miles, and our application, request was for more than $3 million. The CROG came back with, I think with some DOT input, requesting soil borings along certain roads, and more evaluation on the geotechnical side, because they want to make sure the pavement section is beefy enough to essentially withstand all the truck traffic, which is what they did on Deming, Christian Lane, and Porter's Pass. They made us increase the pavement section, do some more homework. So this is basically them asking us to do some more homework on the design. We asked Fussin O'Neill, who did the original applications and who also did the applications for the project going on right now, $5 million project, to give us a proposal to address all of this. So this $55,000 bid waiver is actually a team of, they have a geotechnical consultant, they're gonna have a drilling sub, they're gonna pay for all the police work and the the utility mark out work that they have to do before they drill, as well as responding to the technical comments and integrating that into a new design, pavement design. And I have a feeling the pavement section is gonna get thicker and not thinner, so that's the way it goes. So I'm asking for a bid waiver because they did the original lots of applications. They have all the mapping, all the background. This is more of a team. It's not $55,000 just to them. It's Haley and Aldrich involved, the drilling sub. The police, our police are being paid through this, as well as the lab cost and the GPR sub. So there's a request, and if we get this in, the fact that they responded with technical comments is very encouraging, because they don't do that if they dismiss your applications out of hand. So I think we're gonna actually get these as well.
Oh, all right,
I'm encouraged anyway.
good. All right, good. Other questions for Mike?
So I do have one question. You mentioned something about adding around the edges, adding more fluff, if you will, to it, or are you
well-
dropping it down or raising it up?
No, it
And
would
I
actually
just,
be more asphalt, more actual pavement.
okay.
And then like for Porter's Pass.
Yeah,
they
well, that's why I'm asking, because I
Yeah.
got a phone call today in my office and the guy is
Oh,
roaring, and I'm sure you know
might have-
who it is.
Hey, Mike,
Yes, I believe it is.
I talked to him.
Okay,
I think he's okay.
okay.
His
Be-
drive is gonna get done tomorrow.
Oh, thank you. That's what I want to hear.
But, the little ramp.
Yeah, he's like, it drops down 6 inches. What are
Yeah,
you
that's what I'm
guys
saying.
doing? You just fixed the road, I said, I don't know. I'll ask tonight.
I think he's okay, but if he
Okay.
calls you again, he has my number now.
Uh,
Called him, I said. call the
Okay,
director.
all right. He was pretty upset about it. All right. I thought we were done over there, but then I saw guys working there 2 days ago, so I guess we're not done
No,
over
they
there.
put the top course on,
Okay,
which is why now the driveway transitions went up.
okay,
know,
all right. I
Doing the aprons
figured there was,
tomorrow.
okay,
so,
perfect.
yeah,
That's
and-
great. Thank you. Thank you.
I think he's gonna be the first one in the list.
I think that's a great idea.
In his, I guess he did his job by he's gonna be the first one probably done.
Okay.
He called Senator Lope's office too.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I got.
Good for him. Good for both of them. All I know is they called my office, so I am inquiring.
I try to tell people, just imagine of the great prize you're gonna get at the end. You're gonna have this
It's
beautiful.
gonna be
road,
beautiful.
A little bit of it, you know.
Yeah, I know.
So they'll move their drag racing from Percival Avenue over to Porter's Pass. Okay.
Okay.
All right, where we at? Do we do? the
Sorry,
motion?
Mike. So I guess we gotta,
For the motion.
yeah, the motion.
Motion.
Charlie, sorry about that.
Move to waive the bidding procedure and authorize the town manager to approve the task amendment totaling $55,000 for Fussin O'Neill of Manchester, Connecticut to conduct geotechnical explorations and analysis, revise pavement design, and resubmit 2 applications to Capital Regional Council of Governments for lots of road projects for reconstruction of Burnham Street and Mysterio Drive, and 2 Episcopal Drive and Raleigh Street, as this is in the best interest of the town.
Second on that?
I'll second that.
All right, thank you. Any other questions or concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, so moved.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And one
Thank
more thing,
you.
Mike, number 17, It's the bid waiver for the annual GIS.
Oh, that's right.
Contract. You want to
Thought
talk
it was
about?
done.
Not that easy.
Every time I have to tell people, you got one more. Then you can go.
This is our annual request for the folks that host our GIS or public GIS and also manage the internal staff GIS. And a lot of this is actually for town departments, not just the hosting. The hosting is $6,600. The rest of it is for assessor, planning and zoning, our departments, public works and engineering, water control. And also they did actually do a lot of maps for the POCD this past year. And they're still doing them right now, and they're still, hopefully we get the bills in on time, so we get them out of this fiscal year. So this is basically a bid waiver request. They set up and did and have been managing the GIS for a lot of years. So that's the request.
Okay. Questions on this? Hearing none, we'll take a motion. Is there a
Move
motion?
to waive the bidding procedure and award contract for GIS annual maintenance and departmental services for fiscal year 2023-2024 of New England Geosystems of Middletown, Connecticut, for the amount not to exceed $30,000, as this is in the best interest of the town.
Second on that?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Now you're done.
No,
You can stay, you're welcome
What
to
a
stay.
sparkling.
I'll hang around. Stay longer.
Thank
Come
you,
on.
Mike. All right, the final item,
Oh, God.
agenda item number 18, this is very quick.
18.
We discussed this last time,
Yes, we
we
did.
had an ordinance committee meeting
Mhm.
to provide remote access, create an ordinance that will mandate remote access to all elected boards and commissions, as well as boards and commissions with the regulatory oversight component. And they are listed in the back here, but before we move forward, we got to schedule a public hearing, which we would like to do for the next meeting.
Any questions on this? All right,
We have the equipment to do this.
Yeah.
we'll find it. We
So
don't.
I'm just curious. I think it's a great idea. I'm
Yeah.
just wondering if we have
Yeah.
Try something.
hearing, if we can hear stuff.
Yeah.
you
No, I-
know?
Really, we already have the license.
Okay.
Staff has laptops, so use here, you just show up and hit the button.
Okay,
Go.
Good.
sounds good.
Move to schedule a public hearing on Tuesday, July 11th, 2023 at 7 PM concerning an ordinance that requires certain boards and commissions to provide remote access and recording all meetings.
I will
Second on that?
Second that.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so moved. And, whoa, that's the end of those. Oh, there's no more? Come on.
No, we make something up.
Yeah,
No, no.
let's get to 20. All right, never mind. All right, so we're on appointments now.
Yeah, it's only two.
Yeah, 2 appointments. Okay, what do we got here? Central Connecticut Health District. Okay, so we got a couple of, yeah, so we'll go ahead and open the nominations. Everyone wants to
I
nominate.
would like to nominate Patricia Checo for the Central Connecticut Health District Board.
Okay, any other nominations for that position? Hearing none, we'll close the nominations. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right, so moved. And one more for the Commission on People with Disabilities. We have a candidate, so.
I would like to nominate Anna Metcalf for the Commission on People with Disabilities Commission.
Great. Any other nominations for that position? Hearing none, close the nominations. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so moved. All right. Town managers report.
Where do you do that?
Do you have a time limit on yours, Arosh, or
Shut your
Set your
phone.
timer.
timer?
Ugh.
So
10, yeah.
we can actually pass today. if you-
5. Well, just quickly, you can speed it up.
Yeah, so I have.
Yeah,
one
fast
item.
forward.
I just want to get your advice and thoughts on this before I move forward with it.
Yeah.
So I've spoken to Jeff about this. We own this mobile home park
Oh, yes.
and we are getting to a point, we now have 3 vacancies. One person passed away and the whole unit itself was in such poor condition, it was demolished, so it's
Oh.
a vacant pad there.
Mhm.
Second person passed and then died intestate. And it's not in probate or just sitting there. There's a whole process to go through if you want to, get rid of it.
Right.
It's not just go and remove the trailer. You can't do that.
Right.
Make laws that give you guidance on that. And there's another person who is critically ill and moved away and not occupied. And that's going to be vacant soon as well. The reason
many
why I'm bringing.
Units
this
are
up-
there? How many units are in that whole
16.
park? 16, okay.
So, and none of those units, they're in the original units, so they're not worth anything.
Yeah,
And some
Right.
of them, I sent a building inspector once to inspect the one that was just vacated. The floors are bad, they're boarded, and it's just a safety issue as well.
yeah.
Nobody's living in that one, of course. It's been 30 years. Town purchased this like in 1992, 93 timeframe. Not the lot, and then moved because of where the current CVS building is, moved them out there. And we borrowed about 360 million, 360,000, it's already paid. It's not a financial burden to the town. We net out about 50,000 or so every year after we pay the expenses. But it's two things. It's an administrative burden. Pretty much it's me, the town manager. There's nobody else who can deal with it. And I asked myself, and you should too, why are we in this business of being landlords? And is it time to think about selling it? Now, there are a couple of options here. We could go through an open process. We should, if you want to do it, RFP process. We'll have to have public hearings and all of that. You can put certain conditions in it, such as, the state law is fairly the short window that you have to, give them notice and all, but we can exceed that by, if it's a few months, we can do up to 2 years. And tell folks that you can increase the rent. For 2 years, at least you can sell it or do anything else. And if you do, you got to find a placement. That's an option. And there's also, when we discussed the affordable housing plan, there was conversation about deed restricting some of these units to get the number up. Right now, they are not deed restricted. There's another whole process to go through. We could also do an RFP that could ask people to give a price that is deed restricted. If you deed restrict it, how much would you pay the town versus it's not deed restricted, what the price would be. The most recent numbers with the appraisal, it's just at about 424,000, market around 600,000. That's our card.
How many acres is that? How many acres?
It's 2 acres.
2 acres.
2 acre parcel, 16 units. There's a caretaker house, which is like a haunted house. It's
Right.
been there for
Yeah,
years.
that house is bad, yeah.
Halloween, I think.
Yeah, well, make an
Um,
attraction.
So, I mean, I just want,
What happened to that guy that was interested? Remember that?
he's still interested.
He is?
And I get him more calls now.
Oh, yeah?
People are calling, want to know whether you want to sell it. So I just want, if you say, give me the green light, I'll be happy to move forward with this, but I don't want to, spend a lot of time on it if. the
Well,
council is not-
the only comment that I'm going to make on this, because Southington has had some issues with some of their trailer parks, if you will, that they are seeing people from out of state come in and try to purchase the properties, and tenants up in arms because the cost of renting the pads have absolutely skyrocketed, okay? That's one. Two, I did try to put in a bill, which is kind of in limbo, to count this as part of our affordable housing. It's more affordable housing than the houses that we're building that are affordable housing. So I think it should be part of a number. I know it's only 16 units, but we need to get to certain numbers and we should be able to, and I think that there's a push for that up in Hartford. Didn't happen this year, it might happen in a year, I don't know. But my only major concern, and it is a concern, what happens to the people that have no choice, that are living there? And we have no control over what people are gonna charge, and then where do those people go, you know?
There might be an in-between path. At one point, the housing authority expressed interest in taking it over. And that would help maintain some local control.
Mhm. Maybe,
I don't know,
maybe could we,
10 or 12 years, they could work that deal out.
yeah, right. Could we, Donna, maybe, I'd be curious to talk to Southington and just see what they're.
And
think,
I'll
just-
tell you, they came out to
yeah, and just-
a town hall out there and they were furious. And I guess it was some New York, you know, people that had money out of New York coming in wanting to, you know, buy up these pads,
Develop.
you know, and then they were jacking up the prices. It
That's
was
fine. That's
just,
our concern before. We've discussed that
I mean,
before when
yeah.
we talked about this, and that we are worried about that for the folks that live there. Of course, that's their home.
that's their home. It's a concern.
It's my understanding that they were supposed to sunset. They weren't supposed to transfer these units. It was a temporary place for these folks to go. And then the units got sold and now there's different tenants.
That,
It was never supposed to last this long.
there was a time restriction on that. After that,
Oh.
that was removed.
Oh, it was removed.
Oh.
So
Oh, that's not there anymore.
I have been telling people now, you can't sell it once you go, it's over, pretty much. Because it's at a limbo.
Yeah.
Right now, but, I mean, you don't have to decide today, but.
No, we gotta
um,
think about it, but
But if you would rather not, I'll be.
I'm just pointing out a few things that I know have been a problem over in
I'd
Southington.
like to just do a little research on it, you know, locally, if there's other towns too that have done it or not done it and what they found out. You know,
Yeah.
just so we have some,
Value the folks who want to buy it.
Yeah.
Even the housing authority, the
Yeah.
plan is after a year to get rid of it and build housing that they say it's affordable or have affordable component to it.
is the gentleman that was
Joe.
interested, is he
No,
went,
no,
well,
Joe.
why, oh, Joe, but,
Oh,
well,
that's
Joe,
fine.
Joe is one issue,
What's
but,
the authority?
yeah, I know, but how about the
It's the same.
guy that wants,
You know, if you tell me I
card?
gotta keep it for a couple of years, not increase the rent,
yeah,
but at the end of the day,
yeah, that's the goal.
that's the
That's
goal.
the
is
goal.
They're not deed restricted though, because I
they're not.
think that's part of this affordable housing, 830G component, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I think that they may be able to be considered part of the affordable housing number. I don't know.
No.
If they are
Gotta be
deed
deed
restricted,
restricted, right?
okay.
Question when
So
we
they
had the
have to be deed
all with the
restricted.
representatives, I think Senator Lopes was very clear about that. He said there's no law that will allow them, because as it is, a millionaire could buy it and just stay there.
Oh, yeah.
It's not determined by the rent that you pay. So he said, if you want to get it, you have to get it deed restricted.
So, okay, and then it could be considered affordable housing.
Right.
Okay.
So that'll be, I mean, if you ask Jim Mahoney, he's very much in.
Yeah, I don't know
like
enough
to give
about
the
it.
10%.
Yeah,
This is, 16 units that will
Yeah.
count towards that.
right,
That's another angle we can
To
do and
make
then
it
continue
affordable.
to keep it as a park. But
right,
I think the intent of the town was never to hold
Be in
on
it
to
forever. Right.
30 years later, it's still there.
I mean, so those 3 units that are vacant or one's about to be vacant, the other 2 are vacant, what do we, I mean, they're obviously, you said one,
Do you not
Not
rent
really.
those out?
what do you do with
leave them
those?
Alone for now till
yeah, that's
you
what.
decide what you
Is
want to do?
The owner next, I don't know whether it's a relative whoever's taking care of the part of their will, got rid of it. Like demolished it.
Oh, so there's not even a unit,
over.
there's nothing there.
There's nothing there.
Oh, okay,
Second one who died intestate,
yeah,
there's a sister who wants nothing to do with it.
Okay.
Spoke to Jeff.
Yeah.
He just, the state is very clear about what you have to do. to get
Yes.
rid of it, and you might have to end up going to probate. It's just no way around it.
I would think you'd have to, right? Don't you have to go to probate with it, Jeff, or no? Oh, there's no probate because nobody's there. So what would we do? So what's the next, line?
Statutory process.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah, follow the whole process. But I mean, after the end of the process, I mean, if no one, how long does that process take?
Well, they probably need.
Oh, well, oh, so it's not forever. All right, well, maybe.
The third one,
Yeah.
the person is just not well, not.
Yeah.
probably gonna- She had a son that she trusted who passed away. She has another son that she didn't want anything to do with, who was taking care of her.
He's.
He passed away.
Oh, no. Oh, wow.
So now okay, she's not buying insurance for the property, she's not living there. So you're not.
Oh, she doesn't live there?
She doesn't live there. I think she's in some kind of home.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. And it's a matter, I don't know. I
Yeah.
can't get any better, right?
Yeah,
So more and more of that's gonna happen.
yeah,
And at some point, we gotta decide. I mean, at some point, I mean, if you have 4, 5, 6 units vacant, that's even problematic. You've got to worry about squatters coming in there, breaking in, going in there, living. At least until like last couple of years, even now, it's a peaceful neighborhood. They
Yeah,
take care of each other,
yeah,
get
it
very few
seems
complaints.
pretty
except
nice in
for
there, yeah.
Once in a while, people don't like, the neighbor's dog
Yeah.
or something like that, but that's all over the place.
That's everywhere.
So,
Well, let's
just
think
go
about
think
it.
about it.
Let's, I'm just curious to see what other towns have done and had problems with Donna, like
There's-
Southington, just to see what they're,
Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with working on a plan to restrict them.
right, that too. That might be the plan too, yeah.
No.
All right, let's think about that. And, okay,
That's it.
But, that's it?
That's it.
Cool. Hey,
I want to keep going.
no, okay. No, that's fine. That's good. That's good. What's next on the agenda here?
Special committee.
Special committees. We don't have any, do we?
Wow.
Other than the ordinance committee, but we already talked about that as far as recording the meetings, council communications. Anything?
I just, we should have an answer by the end of the month, with our PD scenario.
Oh, yes,
So
yeah,
Keep your fingers crossed. Everything looks good so far. That'd be great.
Oh, yeah.
Great for all of us. So I will keep you all posted.
yeah, that would be good. Thank
It's
you,
good to
Donna.
be here in person and
Oh,
not
yeah,
via
yeah.
Zoom
At,
with the
there,
madness and the bell ringing every 2 minutes.
right.
Lord.
All right, yeah, nothing, anything else from folks? No? I mean, we could talk before we bring it up, this letter, from,
I didn't read it.
um,
Let's do with the housing.
yeah. I got some concerns. I've been to the Percival Heights there, talked to a few folks that live there, and I don't know, there may,
This is Marjorie Moore, right?
yeah, I mean, they had some concerns. It's seems to be changing the,
Management.
flavor, well, it's changing the management change, but also the flavor of the residents have changed, meaning that they're not seniors. I don't understand what is happening there, but I know some folks are not that happy with what is going on there. I mean, that's just from the neighbor's perspective. I haven't looked into it, but now I see this letter.
Is it only supposed to be seniors over there? I
Well, that's what I'm not clear on how that's happening, but it appears that well, that's just from one person talking to me. The state is involved and they're like saying, well, these people have to move there. I mean, they're going there. It didn't make sense from what the neighbor said. I don't know though. So I think we need to perhaps explore it a little bit, going forward here, based upon this letter. It's not, this is the lady's second time she's reached out, this particular woman. But there was a couple other people there because we bring some food over there sometimes, we do that down.
Yeah,
And some folks, the last time I went there, had some complaints about just different people moving in and really creating some hassles. They were not seniors either, so. But I don't know what the rules are on that, Jeff. We could talk about it a little bit further. I am concerned what I hear there is not good.
excuse me.
Know about it?
Not yet, no, I just heard it like a couple
Yeah,
weeks
yeah.
ago, the last time I went to bring some food there and, yeah, and then I see this letter, I'll read through, I haven't read the whole thing
Yeah.
yet, but yeah, so we'll just keep it on that burner and see what is
Had
going on.
Sorry, not.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
About, there was a change in management.
There is a new management,
Person in there.
yes,
but
correct.
When Christie mentioned this, I spoke to, Chair who said the same thing about Percival, right? That the new group is not responsive and sort of, ignores a lot of complaints and not very pleasant to deal with. So
I hear she's pleasant to deal, well, the respect of this, she's pleasant to deal with, but she doesn't get anything done.
Okay.
So that, so we have that, so I mean, which is not good either, obviously,
yeah.
but I don't understand why just the characteristics of the folks moving in are not seniors, and some of them seem to have, different issues that I don't think we've dealt with there before, but to be just vague, but for now, because I don't know what people are telling me, I haven't
Is
seen it.
Marjorie Moore or?
Percival. Yeah, so anyway, I just want to bring it up, but we'll talk about it some more.
I can follow up with Tina and find out if she knows anything about
Yeah.
the population there.
Yeah,
Not all of
and
them.
Joe is there, Joe's right there.
Joe's there.
Hey, Joe.
I am here.
Well, so Joe, I mean, if you heard it, I mean, I'm concerned. I didn't like what I heard, but I haven't called you yet. It just happened a couple of weeks ago. And then I see this letter though in my mail today. So we could talk, Joe, about it.
Yeah,
See
so
what's going on there.
I have a situation, and suffice it to say, I'm not happy with the police department and their communications with me about it. So there are some issues going on. I didn't hear what the start of this conversation was because I just got home. But we have some challenges due to the way these projects were funded by the state of Connecticut. We are elderly and disabled. So we have to take elderly and we have to
Gotcha.
take disabled.
I figured
Some of
that.
these are elderly and disabled. And
Right.
that's one of the ones I'm dealing with right now.
Are some not elderly though?
If they're not elderly, they're senior. Our average age in both complexes is about 72.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not, that's the average age. So it's not a young group. We
No.
do have some people that are in their 20s and 40s that have, that are disabled and have some issues from a mental health perspective.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but under the laws, they fall into that elderly and disabled category. So that's why the Knights of Columbus building is elderly. And that's, thankfully, we're not getting any state money on that. So,
Oh, gotcha, yeah, okay. yeah.
I can kind of better control
Okay.
the tenants in that new complex. Unfortunately, my hands are tied with respect to Marjorie Moore and Percival Heights. We've had
This is
some
why
tenants.
the state will, I mean, how do these people come to be assigned there? I mean, I know it's late, we can talk about it after, but how would does the state come to you and say, hey, we have
No,
folks that
they
need a place to live?
have, they can approach any housing authority and request to be placed on the waiting list. And
Oh, yeah,
once they get an opportunity to come in, they have to prove their disability. If they have a letter from SSA or a letter from a doctor, or, a lot of these
Do they
people
bu-
are on social security disability.
they bypass other people that are on the list
No,
or not?
no, they go through
They go on the list.
normal selection process. So you file an
Yeah, I'm just curious.
application, you have to be qualified to live there. Once your application's filed, and we have a few applications filed, we'll hold a lottery that determines your
Oh.
place on the waiting list. And then we go according to that selection process.
All right, I mean, I'm sensitive to, their conditions, that's okay, but it just seems to be,
How many individuals are we talking about in that particular age group
I
with the disabilities?
I don't know.
I
don't
don't break it down that way. And the problem is, there's some elderly people with disability issues as well. So one of our tenants at Percival Heights, who's in her 70s, has a daughter who is attracting a boyfriend who is creating problems up there.
I think that's
A
one of the
year ago,
issues.
I had a conversation with the police chief, and he basically told me that he was not interested in communicating to me when police were on the property. Because I did not have a right to know. I'm not really sure where that comes from, but I'm like, okay, if you don't want to play ball, it is what it is. We'll work through our attorneys and go in that direction. This individual we wanted him to be trespassed against the property. The cops wouldn't do it. Finally, the tenant agreed to have him trespassed. He was trespassed, and then he was arrested the Thursday before Memorial Day weekend for trespassing. I would like to get rid of this tenant. The problem is that legally I cannot. She's not violated any laws. She's cooperating with us. But her daughter is the attraction for this other gentleman. And her daughter's a mess. Her daughter was an overdose victim on our property. I would love to trespass the daughter, but I cannot. So I am kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place on this.
Daughter's not a tenant though, right? Is the daughter a tenant?
She's not a tenant, but the police basically state that they will not take a trespass from us. It has to be from the tenant. I'm still not understanding the legal principles behind that, but that's the Berlin Police Department policy on that. The mother will not trespass her daughter.
Yeah.
So as a result, the daughter comes and attracts the boyfriend. At least the
Oh.
boyfriend we can arrest, but the problem is he shows up and creates a disturbance.
Yeah.
And, it's a problem.
Yeah, well, we'll have to do some more talking on this then offline, I guess, and figure out
Yes.
what. we
Yeah,
could
and I
do,
would be more than happy to come in and sit down and
Yeah,
go over the situation with you.
Yeah, yeah, we need to, I think, because that's one of the scenarios I did here, so there
Yeah.
was a couple others too, but that's one of them.
Yeah, and
All right, well,
again,
yeah,
yeah, I don't want to drag it out, so yeah,
no,
let's sit down.
yeah,
and
we have, okay, good,
Chat offline.
good. Yeah, I know. So, acceptance of minutes? If there's no communications you want to talk with, Peter. That's what I got.
That was helpful, Joe. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate, Joe, you hearing that. I didn't know, I'm glad you came back on. And we'll
Yeah,
talk
I,
about
like I said, I overheard some stuff and I wanted to jump in.
Yeah.
In terms of Liz, I'm aware of the complaints and DeMarco is aware of the complaints. Some of them are grounded in reality, some of them are not, and
as everything, yeah, I
we're
get it.
working to resolve that
Two
situation.
sides to every story, we got it.
Yep,
Okay, thank you.
All
All right,
right.
so we'll take, yeah, I appreciate it. We'll talk.
all right, very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion for May 8th.
I move we accept the minutes of May 8th, 2023 special meeting as presented.
Second on that. All right, any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye, opposed? One abstention. Thank you, Peter.
And I move we accept the minutes of the June 6th, 2023 meeting.
Second? All those in favor? Aye, opposed? All right, so moved. Motion to adjourn? So
So moved.
All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Sorry, it's a long one.
I want to stay.
Okay. Oh, when's that come?
We're good, Jeff? Thank you.